Right. So in the today's session, I'm going to start you very Java basics. Okay, because as I said earlier in the previous session, we need to learn a language because we need to write our automation code in certain language so the tool can understand. So here today agenda is let us see how we can install Java on Windows, installation on Windows, and then we also require an editor where we can write our Java program. So for example, if you want to write a small text, I need a notepad, right? So similarly, if you want to write a Java program or if you want to write a automation code, we need a kind of editor or GUI. Okay, so that we can use as an Eclipse. Eclipse provide Eclipse as a kind of editor which will provide us to environment where we can write our Java code. So we'll also see how to install Eclipse, how to download and install Eclipse, download and install Eclipse. You can just follow the instructions. You can do yourself in your system, okay, by following my instructions. And then once we have ready with these softwares, and then we will discuss about very basics in Java and Java variables and what are the variables in Java, and then we'll discuss about data types in Java, and then we'll discuss about different operators in Java. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. Now let us start discussing with us. First, let us see how to install Java on your Windows. So I'll provide you small instructions, step-by-step instructions. You guys also can do in your system. It's very simple. Okay. So what's the first thing is we need to download Java. So I'm going to show you the first option. Download Java. So how to download Java? So let's go to the Google. Okay. Just type download Java. Java for Windows. And the latest version of Java is 10. Okay, now I need to go to this Oracle website, not in the Java. This is very pretty old, so we need to go to this one. I'll give you the direct link. You can still download it. Fine. So this is a website from where we can just download the Java. But if you haven't seen this website earlier, but you need to sign up this website. Okay, otherwise you cannot download anything from here. You need to do certain sign up, and then we can download all the software. So here you can see the download tab. So inside this you can see Java platform JDK. JDK means Java Development Kit. So yeah, it's free. Okay, so whatever softwares we are going to use and downloading, everything is open source, including Java itself. Okay, so we are not going to use anything license based. Everything is a open source. So now Java we need to download from here. So we can say just JDK means Java Development Kit. JDK means Java Development Kit. So you will land it to this particular page as soon as you open this URL. I'll just give you this URL, and yeah, I'm going to share everything, Smithy. You don't worry about this. Okay, I'm going to write all the steps. I'm going to share all the links, and also I'm going to give you a small presentation. Also, you can clearly see and I can do it. Okay, no issues. Fine. So this is your link. So from this link you can download this. So here current version of Java is 10, Java 10. So we can call Java as a JDK, Java Development Kit. So you can observe one more thing here. JDK and JRE means Java Development Kit, Java Runtime Environment. And there is other one is called JVM, Java Virtual Machine. So I'll talk about these technologies in the coming session slowly. But for now, just download this JDK. Okay. So this is the latest version of Java. If I click on this download button, so again it will go to the next page. Over here, the Java will support multiple operating systems. So we can install Java on all other operating systems. So whichever operating system currently you're working on, just you can just download that particular flavor. So here Windows, currently we are working and we need to just select this option, accept license agreement, but we don't require any license. Okay, this is a free open source. Now the Windows version we need to download. So this is the exe file. This is your exe file which we need to download. Now I'll give you the direct link, or else you can just navigate to this page, or else I can just give you the direct link. You can download it. Here I'll paste it over here. Okay. Download link. This is your exe, but it will ask you to sign up to the website, even though if you open this link directly, but you need to do the sign up and then you can download this exe. Fine. So once you have downloaded this file, you will get an exe file, .exe file. So you can see here at the end, your file will be like this: JDK 10.0.2 Windows -x64-bit-bin.exe. So this is the exe file you will see once you have downloaded. So if you still want to navigate, you need to navigate till here. Okay, this is a actual navigation link. This is the official website from where we can just download Java. If you don't require this, you can just download, use the second link. This is a direct link. Now, so once you have, let me just download here. Okay, so here you need to select the environment, right? exe. Accept the license agreement and then click on .exe. Now it will start downloading an exe file. Okay, so I already have everything. So once you have downloaded this exe file, it will take a couple of minutes. I think the 90 MB file it will take some time. So I'm just canceling this download. So once you have downloaded this one, you will have exe file. Okay, it's very simple to install, very simple. I'll show you how we can do this. Just double click on the exe file. It will just go through few steps. Okay, just will give you one or two screens. You don't need to provide anything, just click on next, and it will complete installation in few minutes. Okay, because I already have Java installed in my machine, so I'm not going to do again. I'll give you the screenshots how we can do this installation with this exe file. You can just go through the screenshot. It's very simple installation. Okay, or else after this session, the last 15 minutes, you guys can do in your systems. Okay, if you face any issues, I can just rectify them. So just this is download this exe file. Okay, once you have get this exe file, you need to just right click and run this exe file. It will go through just 3 to 4 screens and it will complete installation. Okay, fine. So once we have download and install this exe file, and this will not complete installation. If you want to work with the Java, we need to also do certain kind of steps or configuration. So what we need to do is step 2. Once we have downloaded in the step 1, right? So step 2 is install Java using exe file, .exe file. So where we are getting this exe file? From this particular step. So install Java using .exe file. Okay, so once you get this, once you have installed this exe file, your Java will be installed by default in this location under C drive. Once you have done the installation, you can see where it is installed on the C drive. Under program files, you can see a folder called Java, and here your software will be installed. So JDK, you can see this folder. So program files, Java, JDK. I have little pretty much old software, but no problem. You can have this version, latest version you can still have. So this is a default location where you have Java installed. So let me just copy this location. So the version can be anything, right? So in your case, it will give you like 10.2.0. something XX. Some version number it will give you. So you can verify after installing this exe file, you can cross check whether you will get these folders or not in this particular location. So once we have done this, once we have confirmed this, all the files are present, and then we need to do one more step. We need to configure this Java path. So the third step is step 3. Configure Java path. Configure Java path. How to configure the Java path? Very simple. Let's go to your project installation location. Let's copy the path till your bin folder. Okay, so in the bin folder itself, all the libraries are available. So Java, and here let's copy this complete path till bin folder. Okay, let's paste it out somewhere. This is your Java path. Okay, this is your Java path, and this path we need to configure in environment variables. So let me just show you. So in Windows environment, if you just right click on this PC, or if you're working on an older operating system like Windows 7, you will have my computer, right? So you need to right click on this PC, or in case in older operating systems, you need to right click on my computer. Just right click on this PC, go to properties. I'll write all the steps. Just let me just show you. Okay, right click on this PC, go to properties, and it will give you this particular window. This is a properties window. Okay, now here you need to go to advanced system settings. Advanced system settings. Now when you click on this, you will get one more window like this, and in this window you will see environment variables button. So when you click on this environment variables, and here you can see there are two sections: user variables from admin and system variables. So just come to the system variable part. Here there is a path variable which is already there. You can find this path variable which is already present in your system. Select this path variable and click on edit. Okay, and if you observe, these are the paths I've already set for other softwares. Okay, and now we need to add whatever path we have captured for our Java. So copy our path, and then here click on the new and just add your path here. Okay, that's it, because you already have this path somewhere. So I'm just going to remove this path. So here I already have it. See, here you already have it. So what I can just do it, I'll just remove this path, or else I can just remove this. But once you have added, okay, you will see this path here, and then click on OK button. Okay, that's it. So this is your configuring your Java path, and then again click on OK button, again OK button, then come out. So let me write the steps here. So first what we need to do is we need to right click on my PC. So I'll write all the steps here very clearly. So here this is your Java path we captured, and then we need to follow these steps. We need to right click on my PC and properties, advanced system settings, environment variables, then again system settings, path variable, click on the new button, and then provide path of Java, and then OK button. So these are the steps. So let me show you once again. So go to your somewhere in some directory anywhere, just right click on my PC, properties, advanced system settings. You will get this window. Click on environment variables button, and here this is system variables section, and select the path variable. Click on edit. Don't create new. Okay, just click on edit. Now you can see all the paths which are already configured for other softwares. Just now here click on the new, and now here paste your path. Sorry. So you need to copy your Java path. Okay. So once you have done, click on OK button, again OK button, then OK button. So close all the windows. So this is how we need to do the configuration. So only these are the steps we need to follow. So once you have done these three steps, your Java is ready in your system. Okay, so these are all configuration steps which we need to follow as guided by Java itself. Okay, because unless we have done these steps, we cannot work with Java. Okay, so setting path variable means the suppose we can just run the Java from anywhere in your Windows, like C drive or E drive or some other drive, right? So our system operating should be able to find out where our Java is installed. So that is the reason we need to set this particular path. So unless we set this path, our operating system cannot identify the Java location. So it cannot run our programs first of all. Okay. So that's the main purpose of creating the path variable. So this is very important step. Fine. Fine. So now we need to follow these steps. Step 1, we need to download this Java. Step 2, install by using exe file. Step 3, just configure this path. So once we have done this, we can cross check whether Java is working in your system or not. So how to cross check? Let's say step 4. This is not, step 4 is not for configuration or installation, just cross verification whether the Java is installed properly or working fine or not. Okay, check Java is properly configured or not. So how we can cross check here? Let's open a command prompt. Just type somewhere in search button CMD. So CMD means it will open up some command prompt. Okay. So in this command prompt, this is the command window. So just type here Java version. This is a small command, Java command, which will give you the version of Java version. So press enter and it will give you Java version. So if you haven't configured properly, it will give you an error. Okay, this will not give you the version number and environment, all these things. So this is a cross check. So you can just write this command. The command is any command prompt. Just open command prompt window or command window by using CMD command and then type Java version. Okay, this will give you the version of Java. Okay, once you are getting this version, that means you have configured, installed and configured successfully. Fine. So these are the installation steps you need to follow if you want to install Java. This is very simple steps. I will also provide screenshots. You can just go through that. Okay. Fine. So now once we have Java, and then we need to also have Eclipse software. And this works as an editor where we can write our Java programs. We can also write Java programs in normal notepads and notepad++, but they are not much comfortable for us because we are not only writing a simple Java programs, we are also going to write a complex programs and automation scripts. So notepads and editors won't work for us. So we are going to download an Eclipse. It contains a lot of features. So let's start downloading Eclipse now. How to download and install Eclipse. So I hope you guys have cleared how we can download and install Java, right? So guys, can you follow all these 4 steps? Anyway, I'll just show you after end of the session. You guys can try this. If you face any issues, I will fix it. Okay. So now let's see how to download and install Eclipse. Yes, Eclipse is an IDE for Java. So it is called Integrated Development Environment, where we can just download, where we can write our Java programs. Eclipse we can call as an editor. Okay, so let's see how we can download and install Eclipse. So Eclipse, as I said, Eclipse is an IDE for Java. So not only Java, we can also write your Python, C# also, but we need to install additional plugins in Eclipse. But it started basically for Java itself by default. But if you want to still write other programming languages, don't still use it, we can still use it by installing a special kind of plugins. Okay. Fine. So Eclipse is an IDE for Java. So let's start downloading here. Let's go to again Google. It's also very simple steps we need to follow. Just type download Eclipse for Java. Okay, now we will go to this particular website. Okay, you can just go to download part, or you can see here. See now, this is a URL I'll just give you, and here get Eclipse Part-1. So every Eclipse version, they don't give the version numbers actually, but they will give some name for every release. So in the previous releases they have given like Oxygen, Mars and so on, but this release, the newer version of Eclipse, they have given as a Part-1, Part-1. So this is the name they have given for the latest release of Eclipse. So here we need to just click on this download 64-bit. So currently all our Windows operating systems are 64 bits. So we can just download this. Click on this download 64 bit. Now again, it will go and open this particular page. So in this particular page, we can just download this particular exe file. Eclipse inst win64.exe. This is not exactly installer. Once we click on this exe install, it again try to install complete Java. So let's click on this download. Okay, the download button I have clicked, and it start downloading this exe file. You can see here Eclipse inst win64.exe, and keep. Okay, it's starting downloading. This is around 46.5 MB. Okay, let's downloading it. Let's go back. Okay, if you want to install the previous versions of Eclipse, you can find here more downloads. So this is the latest version, and Oxygen, Neon, Mars, Luna. So there are older versions also available. You can just download them. So let it download. So once you get this exe file, you need to just double click and start installing Eclipse. It's very simple. And Eclipse is also available for multiple operating systems, even Windows 32-bit, 64-bit and all. So you can also select from this list. And again, it will start downloading the same thing. And it's downloading the zip file. I think this is downloading the complete software. Let's cancel this. You can go through, you can install using this exe file, or you can directly download the zip file. Okay, zip file downloading very simplest one. Okay. So Navina, if you already have 1.8 and Eclipse installed, that's fine. Okay, you don't need to install again. You can still work on that. Okay, so you can just download this Eclipse as an exe file. Okay, or you can have this zip file. Let me just open this. I think I cancelled it. Okay, if you click on this one, Windows 64-bit, it will just download as a zip file. I think 151 MB. Okay, we already done the exe file, right? Let's go to this particular exe file. Okay, this is the exe file you will get. So once we have start running this, run as an administrator. Okay, just a second. It will open a window. Just a second. Okay, again, I'll give you the step-by-step instructions and with screenshots. You can just follow them. It's very simple to install. We can directly download the zip file, or we can directly for the exe file. So if you double click on this exe file, you will see this menu. Okay, and this exe file, again, this exe file is not exactly the Eclipse software, and this is a small plugin which is given by the Eclipse. So by using this, we can just download Eclipse now. So now when I click on this exe file, you will get this particular screen. Okay, so from this screen, let me just capture the screens, because you also can get this later. Okay, so this is the first screen you need to capture. Just a second. Okay, you will get this particular screen. So once we have installed, once we have run this exe file, so from this list, Eclipse is available for different users. So here, IDE for Java developers, Java EE developer, C++ developer. Okay, Eclipse will support so many things. So we can just download the first one. So Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Just click on the first option. Okay, now it will go to the actual Eclipse. So this is the exact software which will download, and this particular software again comes with by default Java IDE, JIT client, XML editor, Mylib, Maven, Gradle integration. So these are all the third-party plugins. So it will come with all these third-party plugins. In the going forward, we are also going to use the JIT client and XML editor and Maven. So all these things we are going to use in future. Okay. So now this will just download this installer in this particular location. This is your location by default location. Okay, if you want, you can change the folder location. Okay, this is this. Once you have selected proper software Java for developer, you will get this particular screen. I'll just copy the screenshot. Right. So once we have done this, now click on install. It's trying to install the software. It will just go through a certain number of steps because I already have it. I'm just canceling this. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, it will take at least 2 to 3 minutes of time. I'm just canceling this. It's very simple. It will just go through 1 or 2 screens and it will complete the installation. I'm just canceling this. Okay, so once you have installed this, once this navigation is completed, you can see this location. See under program files and Java Portal, right? So just go to C drive, and here you can see program files and Java Portal. So this is the folder you can see. So inside this again you can see Eclipse, and I haven't installed completely so that I don't have all the files here, but normally you will see a lot of files here. Let me show you. So here I already have one more Eclipse installed. See now all these files you can see inside the folder. So this is your Eclipse installer. So program files, and you can see the Java Portal. Inside this you will see these files. These are all Eclipse related files. But at the time of installation, you already selected create the desktop shortcut and everything. It will automatically create shortcut, or what you can do is just come to this location, and there is an exe, eclipse.exe, right? So you can just create a shortcut on the desktop, because every time and every day whenever you want to write a program, so you need to open this software, right? So just create a shortcut in the desktop for this eclipse.exe file. Okay. Now let me just write all the steps. So we need to download the Eclipse. So I'm just giving the direct link here. So this is your download link. From here you can just download, and you will get exe file. Again, by using exe file, you can choose the whichever flavor of Eclipse you have to install, and then try to install Eclipse using that option, Eclipse for Java developer, and then this is the location where your Eclipse will be installed. Default location. If you don't provide any location, this is the location where your Eclipse is installed. Okay, just have these steps with you, so you can just try this. So here one more important thing, and here we don't get this exe file we'll get, right? By using this exe file, if you open this exe file, we'll get these options. So you can see this window. Before this window I have shown you, right? So that one. Okay, so this is a Eclipse installation. So once we have this Eclipse, then we can write our Java programs in Eclipse. And one more thing is, in the first time when you are launching your Eclipse, so once you have installed, you will get a shortcut in the desktop, right? So now, first time when you open your Eclipse, first time when you're launching your Eclipse, it will ask you for the workspace location. Workspace location. So workspace location is a location where all your projects or all your programs which are you are writing in the Eclipse will be stored. So Eclipse required a folder or a location. So that's called as a workspace. So first time Eclipse will ask you to set workspace location. So workspace location means all Java projects and scripts will be stored in this particular location. Okay, this is mandatory required. So here, if you observe my Eclipse, this is my Eclipse. Okay, I already launched my Eclipse. So this is my Eclipse. And by default, when you start launching this Eclipse, you don't see all these package or Explorer projects. These are all different projects I have created. You don't see all these things. You can see just few menus and everything. But here, if you want to see the workspace location, just go to properties of some project. I'll show you. And this is my workspace location. Let me just show you. Yeah, this is your workspace location. You have to give that path at the beginning when you're launching your Eclipse, or else by default it will create a workspace. So this is a location. Users, your username of your system and Eclipse workspace. Just press enter. So here all my projects will be stored. So whatever projects I have done in Eclipse will be part of this particular folder. So Eclipse is always use the same location. Whenever you create something here, that will go and store in this particular location. Okay. So this is the workspace location. When it will show you first time when you're launching your Eclipse, then you need to provide that workspace location. So first time Eclipse will ask you the set workspace location, you have to provide that one. So Java projection script will be stored in that particular location. So once we have done this setup, now we are ready with Java and also Eclipse editor. So now we are ready to write your Java programs in your Eclipse. Now you already created one shortcut on desktop. Just you need to launch your Eclipse. So this is our Eclipse. This is my Eclipse. I have just launched, and which contains different projects here. But in your case, you don't see any projects in this particular package explorer. Everything is empty. So we are also going to discuss a few of the options for Eclipse in coming sessions. For now, I need to write a small Java program, the first Java program. Let me show you how to write a very basic first Java program. Okay. So I hope everyone is clear so far, right? So you guys can try this after this session. Okay, in the last 10 to 15 minutes, I'll guide you if you face any issues. Fine. So now let's write Java. So let's start writing with the Java program. So if you want to write a Java program in your Eclipse, so the first step is you need to create a Java project. So in future, whatever programs or scripts we are going to write will be part of that particular project. So there's a first step. So let's see how to create a Java project in your Eclipse. So now I have started Java. Okay, so creating a Java project in Eclipse. This is the first step. So creating Java project in Eclipse. So this is one-time job. Okay, once you have created the Java project, and every day whatever programs or script you are developing will be part of that particular project. So let's see how we can do. So we can create a project, either right click here, new project, Java project. This is one option. Or you can just go to file, new and Java project. Let's take this Java project. Okay. Now here you need to provide some name to your Java project. So I'll just say something called this my Java project. I'll say for me it is a AM. So I'll just say AM. This is the name of the project I have given. So Java project and AM. And where this project will be stored by default in your workspace location. This is the workspace location. And whichever Java you have installed, that Java automatically selected here by Eclipse. And one more thing is we should install Java first and then Eclipse you need to install later, because if you want to install Eclipse, the prerequisite is first you need to have Java inside your system, because Eclipse will use Java internally. So that's the reason. Okay, until unless you have Java, you cannot install work on Eclipse. So because by default Eclipse will choose this particular Java which is already you have, and then just click on finish. Okay, now it will create a new project at the new folder here. This is Java project AM. This is your Java project. So inside this, you can just create all your programs. Now let's expand this little bit and you will see a folder called as SRC, means a source directory or source package. So all the programs and script will be part of this SRC. And you can also create our own packages. And the other one you can see JRE system library, Java runtime environment. So once we have installed Java, uh, can anyone else can see the screen clearly? Urush, I think you have to maximize your screen. There will be some option. I think others are able to see. Urush, can you try to maximize your screen? I think you have, in go to meeting, you can see a small screen or a bigger screen. You need to just maximize it. There is some options provided. You can just verify it. Okay. Fine. So now we have just created a Java project. Inside this, we can see SRC and this is JRE system library. So whatever jars these jars will get from Java installation itself. Okay, Java is providing these jar files which contain so many classes and method by which we can write our Java programs. So this is the default setup for Java project. Okay. So how to create this Java project? We need to just go to the file and new and then select Java project and then specify name for the Java project and then finish, and this will automatically creates a new Java project in the package explorer. This is called as a package explorer. By default you don't see anything here. Once you have created a new project, you can see project name here, Java project AM. Fine. So now we can create our Java program. So I'm going to create a first Java program, very simple program. Let's see. So how we can create is, so here SRC is a default package. So we can also package in the sense it is just like a folder structure. Okay. So we can create any number of packages like this. Now let's right click on SRC, new, let's take a class. So in Java, if you want to write a single line of code or single line of script, we have to create a class. So class is a collection of different statements. We can say a variables and methods. Okay, if you are completely new to the Java, okay, just you need to wait for a few more sessions to understand what are the variables and methods, all the terminology. For now, just remember, if you want to write a simple line of code in Java, we have to create a class. So class is a block of statements. A class contains a statements which we need to write. So let's create a new class. So how to create? Just right click on SRC, new and class. Now here we need to provide a name to the class. So whenever you are providing name to the class, you should not start with the numbers and you should always start with the uppercase letters. The class name is always start with the uppercase letter. These are the standards we need to follow. So whenever you are creating a class names or creating a variables or you are using a methods, right? So all these things we need to follow certain coding standards. I'll tell you as and when it is required. But for now, what you need to do is just we need to provide a class name here. So class names is always start with the uppercase letter. So I'll just say here first program. This is my first program, or let's say this is my first Java program. Okay, this is my class name. So first Java program, and we don't create any packages here until this default package, right? So this will be created the default package. So let it have. So this is my class name. So you should not use any hyphens, slashes, stars. So you should not use any special symbols inside this, and you should not start with the numbers. And but in between you can still use numbers. Okay, suppose here I can just say 1 2 3. This is valid, and here I can say just 1 2 3. This is also valid, but this is not valid. hyphen is not valid, but underscore is valid again. Okay, just you need to remember this. So this is a standard when you're creating a class. So just give some class name here and then click on the finish. Now it creates a new class inside the default package and it will give you the skeleton of the class. This is the syntax of the class basically. Okay, so public class, this is the name of the class, and this is a starting curly braces and this is the ending curly braces. It representing it is started here, it is representing it is end here. So inside this block we have to write our code. We need to write our Java code. Okay, this is your class syntax, very basic syntax of the class. Okay, let me just write it here. Syntax. Okay, so here this will automatically creates by Eclipse itself. So public class first Java program and code. And we will understand this public and all what is things and all in the coming sessions slowly one by one. But for now, just understand this. It is a syntax for the class. Now, if you want to write a Java program, so inside this class, we have to specify a main method. Okay, so main method is mandatory because Java is always look for the main method. Execution will start from there. So normally, how Java works is first we have a class. Okay, so in this class, basically what is class here? Class is nothing but is a collection of variables and methods. So let's say a class test. So in this particular class, I can create different variables and different methods. But the class will execute from certain method. So that method must be a main method. So Java is always look for this main method. So execution will start from that. So along with this main method, we can also create so many methods. But for now, let's discuss about the small main method here. So not only class definition, along with the class definition, we should also write a main method. So how to write this main method? The syntax of main method will be like this: public, and Java is a case sensitive language. Remember this, Java is a case sensitive language. So we have to write all lowercase letters except on certain cases. But here all the keywords will appear in the different color. So the public, class, these are all Java keywords, Java reserved words. So we cannot use these keywords as a class names or variable names. Okay. So public static void main, and this main will take a string as a parameter. String array is a parameter. So I will discuss about this in detail in the coming sessions again, and but this is not time to discuss these things. But for now, just remember, when you create a class, we must include the main method. This is your main method. So the syntax of the main method will be like this: public static void main, and this is the parameter or argument of the main method. Okay, so Java, when I execute my class, Java is always look for this main method within the class, and then execution will start. Okay, now we have created the class. Inside this we have created the main method. So main method block is started here and here. Here we need to write exact Java code. So all the code whichever I am going to create should be included in the main method. Okay, so this is the actual syntax: class with the main method. Let me write. This is our class and this is your main method. Here we need to include the code. Okay, suppose if you don't want to write your main method, Eclipse will automatically insert the main method. How we can do that? Let me create one more class. So at the time of creation of class, okay, here I'm just providing the name of the class, right? Test. Here there is a checkbox. So public static void main, right? So when I select this checkbox, this will automatically insert the main method within the class. Now create finish here. So I have created one more class. Now you can observe here. The class is created within this. The main method is also inserted. And this is just a comment. Means that line will be ignored by Java. So just you can remove that. Not required. So this is a test is a class. Within that main is a method. and these curly braces can be there in the same line or in the next line. This is also perfect. So this is a class. Within the class, this is the main method, and here we need to write the code. Okay, this is the very beginning level. The first we need to create the project, Java project, and then we need to create the class, and then we need to insert the main method. Now let's close this test. Now here I can write our Java. So as a first step, I can just print a small message as an output. So if you want to print something as an output, we have to use a method called system.out.println. So this is a method we have to use. So we will discuss about what is system, what is out, what is the static, void, and all in the coming sessions one by one in detail. But for now, just remember the syntax as it is. Okay, so here this is the statement we need to use to print something in your console. So whatever we given in the double quotes, that will be printed as an output. So for example, I can just write, suppose this is my first Java program. I have given some text. Okay, now this is a simple Java program. So how we can execute this program? So we can execute this program, just right click here, run as Java application. Now when I run this code, you will see one more window which is open in the bottom, that is console window. This is your console window. And here you can see output of this particular program. Okay, this program is written this particular output. And if you want to write a few more statements as an output, just you can write the same statement multiple times here. So here I'll write another message. So this is the Java class. Okay, let's run this again. Right click, run as Java application. So now we can see another line. Okay, so this is a very basic and the first program. So we can first create a class, and within the class we have to include the main method. Within the main method, actual code will be reset. So in future also, whenever we create programs, everything will be follow the same way. But these things we are going to learn in the coming sessions one by one. Okay. So this is your first Java program. So how to compile this program, how to run this program? Just run as Java application. Or there is a green color button here. You can see. You can also click this button. Okay, these are the two ways you can just run your Java program. So once you have created your Java class and everything, so how to run Java program? Just right click and just run as Java application. Run as Java application. That's it. Okay. So this is your first program, first Java program, and where this project and programs will be stored. As I said earlier, this will stored in the workspace. So how you can see the workspace location for this project? Just right click, go to properties, and here you can see the workspace location of this project. Just you can open this path here, right? So here you can see a few folders here. SRC is there here. Okay, and along with this in SRC we have created this default package and this. So first Java program and test. So these are the programs we have just created. Okay, fine. So I hope you guys are clear. Any questions on this, guys? Are you clear how to create the Java project, how to create this a very basic program in Java, how to create the class and how to write this code? So please confirm on the chat window, then I'll proceed further. Okay, fine. Great. So now let's move on to a few more concepts. Let's discuss about variables, data types, and object. So if you want to learn any programming language, yes, there are two things here. If I don't create our own package, so by default your programs will be stored under default package. It will automatically comes. Okay. Suppose if you want to store your programs in your own package, then you have to create a new package. So how to create? Just right click on SRC, new, package. So here I'll give some, let's say my package, some name you have to give and click on the finish. Now you will create a new package here. This is your own package. Now you can have this same test case or same script in your package like this. So if you don't create your own package, by default will be stored in the default package. Okay, and this package will be stored as a folder. So you can go and see your workspace location again. Go to your properties, go to your workspace location, right? So here you can see under this project, you can see under SRC, you can see my package is created as a folder. My package, inside this you will have another two tests. Okay, so if you don't create the package, by default it will create its own package and copy all the code. And if you create your package, you can still have your code in your own package. Okay, fine. So now if you want to learn any programming language, we have to start with some alphabets, then we will try to make a small words, and then we'll try to write a paragraph, sentences and so on, right? It's a step-by-step process of learning. Similarly, if you want to learn any programming language, either Java or some other language, we need to first learn about variables, what are the data types, how to use operators, what are the arrays concepts. So step-by-step process we need to learn. So today here I'm going to show you now how to use these variables, data types and operators. Let us see about the variables. What is variable in Java? Variables are basically containers which can hold the values, So what is this? So in mathematics, what we will do is, if we want to have a value, we will create a variable, right? So for example, let's say here, let's say x is equal to 10. So what does it mean in mathematics? So 10 is a constant value, x is a variable. X is a variable, so which can hold some value. It's a container. So as soon as I say x is equal to 10, in the memory it will create a location. The value will be stored here. That location will refer with a variable called as a x. So a variable is a container which can hold a certain value. Okay, variable is a container which can hold certain value. But what kind of value it can hold, that depends on data type of the variable. So Java, we have certain data types. So data types in Java. So we have few number of data types in Java. So suppose, let's say if I say x is a int is a data type in Java, integer. So then I can store only integer numbers without decimals. Okay, suppose if I say a variable as float, okay, and I can store decimal numbers into this particular variable, or we can say double is also can store decimal numbers, but we can store a bigger number. And suppose if I say a variable as a char as a data type, I can store a single characters. So let's say a y. Characters always include in the single quotations. Okay, we can store some character inside this variable. So what kind of data we are going to store in this variable will be decided by the data type of Java. Okay. Now let us discuss about what is a variable. Variable is a container which can hold that value. As soon as I define this variable, it will create a location, and this value will be stored in this location and will be referred by this variable name. This is a simple variable. Now let us discuss about data types in Java. So in Java, we have mainly few data types. Let me just list out here. Data types in Java. So why the data types are required? If you want to store a certain value inside a variable, we must specify a data type. So without data type, I cannot store any value, because how we will know what kind of variable, what kind of value we have to store here in Java? So Java doesn't know that. So until unless we specify the data type of the variable. Fine. So here in Java, if you want to define the variable. So before discussing the data types, let me just show you how to create the variables. So in Java, if you want to create a variable, first we need to just say data type. and then variable name, and then some value. Okay, and we can do multiple ways. We can just say I haven't assigned any value here. I just declared a variable. This is called as a declaration. This is called as a declaration. Declaration of variable. This is just a comment I'm using. Okay, in Java, this slash slash is representing the comment. So int x is nothing but a int is a data type. Int is a data type. X is a variable. Suppose I want to assign some value to this variable. So how we can do this is simply I can say x is equal to some 100. So in Java, every line is end with the semicolon. So I'm just saying a semicolon here, except this class and methods. Class and methods will not end with semicolon, and rest of the statement we have to end with the semicolon. So here, the first step is called as a declaration. I have declared a variable of type integer. So when I say integer type, I can store numbers inside that variable. So here, this is called as initialization. This is called as initialization because I have assigned some value to that. And we can also club these two statements. We can still write two statements. One is for declaration, the other is for initialization. I can also combine these two statements. How we can combine this? Let's say int x equal to 10. So directly I can assign the value. Okay. So this is how we need to define the variables in Java. Right. So let's talk about the data types. I'm going to use this variable later. So now let us discuss about data types in Java. So in Java, there are two types of data types. One is primitive data types, and the second one is derived data types. Primitive data types and derived data types. So what are all the basic types like integer, float, double, character, boolean? So these are all comes under the primitive data types. What is data types? Data type will decide what kind of value we are going to store in a variable. Okay. So under primitive data types, we have few data types like int, and we can also use float or double. But most of the times we'll use this double, char, and then boolean. So these are all basic data types, and along with this we have also have like a short, and we have a float. Okay, so we have etc. So many depths we have, but majorly we use int, double, char, and boolean because short is also kind of integer type. So what is the difference here? If I say int, I can store a small number. If I say short, I can store a small number, one or two digits of number. If I say int, it can accept more number of digits. The length, a bigger number I can store. That's a small difference. Similarly, if I say a variable as a float, I can store on a small decimal number. And if I say variable as a double, I can store a larger decimal number. And we have a char type and we have a boolean type. Okay, these are all comes under the primitive data types. Now we have also derived data types. Means these are all objects in Java. Okay, we'll talk about objects and all later. For now, just remember, array is a derived data type. Array list is a derived data type. String is a derived data type. Okay, hash map. So this is also a kind of derived data type. And there are so many things like this. It all comes under the derived data types. And what is the difference between this one and this one? Derived data types will act as a data type, and also these are the predefined classes in Java. Okay, just like we have created one class, right? Similarly, Java itself is having its own classes. These classes are comes under that particular part. So these are called derived data types in Java. So we are going to discuss this derived data type in the coming sessions. But for now, just focus on primitive data types. How we can use this primitive data types. Okay. Now let's discuss. I'll just give you a small program here. How to use these data types. Let me just create a new program here. I'm just removing the test. So now I'm going to create one more program. Okay, so what I can do is Let's keep this default package as it is. I have already created my package, right? So I will just rename this as day 1. Okay, and I think this is day 2, right? So day 2 I have given. So on every day I will create a new package. So day 2, I just renamed this package. Okay, just continue. So I have just renamed my package day 2. So every day I will create a new package like day 3, day 4, and whatever programs I'm going to do will be part of that particular packages. So here I have test.java. So I already created this class, right? So let me remove this and I'll just create another class. I'll name this as data types. Data types. Now let's take a main method. Click on finish. Fine. So now here I'm going to define a few variables with different data types. Let's say, so first I will create int, suppose a is equal to 10, some number. So int means is a numeric value. It accepts the numeric value. And I'll say double, so d is a variable name. And here I'll just say a decimal number. Let's say some different number, 20.5. It accepts the decimal numbers. And when I say char, let's say variable is c, and I can initialize a characters. All characters always we need to include in the single quotations. So here I'll just say some character, something called some h, some character. Line is end with the semicolon. Now I will create one more variable called as a boolean. Let's say a variable called b, and in the boolean variable I can store only either true or false. So boolean variable can accept either true or false. Only two values I can store. So I can store either true here or I can store false here. But we should not include the double quotes. If we include this double quotes, that will be treated as a string. Okay, so we should not include. And along with this, I'm also going to use this string type, because this is also we need to use every day. Very familiar. So let's create another variable for string type. String, let's create a variable called yes is equal to strings. Always we need to put in the double quotes. Let's say I'll say welcome. So now you can see the difference between these primitive types and this derived type. So all the primitive type data types all comes under the different color, and string is not comes in any other color, right? So string is comes under the derived type. It is basically inbuilt class in Java, and which is also we can use as a data type. So when I say a variable as a string type, we can store a string value inside it. So string is nothing but a collection of characters. A string is nothing but a collection of characters. Should be included in the double quotes. So whenever you want to assign a character, should include in the single characters, single quotations. And if you want to assign a string, you have to include in the double quotations. So now I have defined a few variables and their values. Now I want to print these values in my console window. Okay, so how we can do this? So let me write a statement: system dot out dot println. So here just I'll give a variable name called a. Now what it will do is this statement will print the value of a. So whatever value we have stored in this variable, that will be printed in the console window. Now let's run this. Run as Java application. Now you can see the value of a is 10 is printed. And similarly, I can also print other variables, other values of those variables: a, b, c, and b. And also we have string, that is yes. Okay. Now we'll get values of those variables in our console window. Now let's run this. You will get all the values which are present inside these variables. Okay, so this is how we need to define these variables. And here I have followed the notation like a declaration and initialization. Both I have done in the single statement itself. And then I have printed the values which are there inside these variables. Okay, so this is about variables, how to use these variables. And now I'll talk about variables and also data types I have shown you, right? So int, double, char, and boolean. So these are all called data types in Java. Now let us discuss about derived data types. I will cover in the coming sessions. They are a little bit complex. And then we'll see about data types in Java. So what are the data types we have in Java? Sorry, operators. So what is an operator? First we need to discuss about what is operator. Operator will perform certain action between two operands. So for example here, I'll just say 10 plus 20. So this is called as an expression. So plus is a symbol. What the plus will do here? It will add the two numbers. Plus and 10 and 20 will be added by plus. So this is called as an operator. So when I say operator, operator is a symbol which will perform certain operation between two operands. Okay, so operator is a symbol which will perform a certain operation between two operands. So in Java, we have different kinds of operators. So we have arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, increment or decrement operators, and assignment operators. Let's discuss them. So I will just list out a few operators here. So arithmetic operators are plus, minus, star is representing the multiplication, slash and modulo division. So one is written the quotient value, the other one is written the remainder. So these are the comes under the arithmetic operators which we can use it to perform mathematical operations. Now we have relational operators or called as a comparison operators. So under this we have a double equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal. So these are the comes under the relational operators. So by which we can compare two operands whether they are equal or not, or which one is larger, which one is smaller, or if you want to verify them we can go and use these relational operators. And then logical operators can be used to check a logical conditions. I'll just talk about this more. And then we have increment and decrement operator which are very specific to Java. And assignment operators equal to. Equal to will assign some value to the variable. So these are the list of operators we have. Arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, increment or decrement operators, and assignment operators. Now let us see one by one how to use these operators in Java. So what I can do is I will just create one more class to demonstrate these operators. So as I said, operator is a symbol which will perform an action on operand. So let's see here. Let's need to understand a few terminologies. Okay, so here when I say int a is equal to 10, I'll create one more variable int b is equal to, let's say, 20. So when I say a plus b, I'll store that into a variable called C, as C is also an integer variable. So now if you observe this, A is a variable. A is a variable here. And 10 is a value. And here B is a variable and 20 is a value. Right? So in this expression, A, B are called operands. Operands. So as soon as I have used this operator, these variables are becomes the operand. So operator is a symbol which will perform certain operation between two operands, two or more operands. Sometimes I can also have some other variable, right? So more than two operands will be required. So operator is a symbol which will perform certain action between two operands. So here A and B are called as operands. Plus is called as an operator. Plus is called as a operator. Okay, now let us see how we can use these operators in Java. So to do that, I will create a new program. Right click, new class. I'll name it as a data types. Sorry, operators. The first letter should be uppercase letters. Okay, operators. Let's take a main method and then finish it. Okay, now it creates a new class operators and it is also included the main method. So here we need to write our Java code. So now I'm going to show you how to use these operators. Okay, so let's create, if you want to do these operate, if you want to use this operator, at least we need to have few variables and their values, right? So let's create a two variables now. Int, let's say a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20. So I have just created two variables and including their values. So now I'm going to show you how to use this arithmetic operators. So what is the first category? Arithmetic operators. Okay, so arithmetic operators. So this is just a comment. Okay, at the runtime Java will ignore this statement. So how to use this comment? Slash slash. So here I'm going to show you how to use this arithmetic operators. Suppose I want to add these a plus b. I want to add these two numbers. Let's say a plus b. It will add two numbers. Now I want to print the output of a plus b. So if you want to print an output, again I use system dot out dot println, and within the bracket just specify the a plus b. So this will give you the output of 10 plus 20. So here the statement will end with the semicolon. So a contains 10, b contains 20, it will return the 30 as an output. So when I run this, it will gives you 30 as an output. Okay, suppose I want to know what kind of output it is. Then I can just write some message here in the double quotes, sum of a and b. Sum of a and b is, and just semicolon, and here uh, this is a string. Okay, so whatever we provided here, that will be printed as my console window, and here I'm going to append this result to this particular string. Okay, this is a kind of concatenation. So what you need to do is we need to use a plus operator. So plus is used as a two different ways. One is we can perform arithmetic operations, and the other way of usage of plus is it will also concatenate the values. So this one and this one. So suppose if I use plus like this in between two numbers, let's say a and b are integers. So if I say a plus b, it will perform addition. Okay, let's say I have a string value. So suppose I have a string values, let's say x and y. These are the strings. Now if I say x plus y, what this will give you is it will append. Suppose x contains something called welcome, and y contains something called as selenium. Okay, these two are different strings. When I say x plus y between the strings, it will just concatenate these two strings. So it will give you welcome space and selenium. So it will concatenate both the strings. Okay, plus will act as a two different ways. Now go here. So sum of a and b. This is a string, complete string within the double quotes. Now I'm concatenating this with our result a plus b. So let's run this. What it will give you? What it is giving? So it is concatenated everything. So this is a string still here. Then 10 is concatenated and 20 is also concatenated. But this is not our expected output, right? So we should get 30. So what we need to do is, if you are trying to use both two times a plus operator, you need to just use brackets here. So now what happens is it will just calculate a plus b first, and then it will append this result to this particular string. Now let's run this code. It will give you now exact result. Sum of a and b is 30, because we are using both here plus operator. First we need to calculate this and then append this same thing to the existing string. So here we need to use plus operator like this. This just perform the arithmetic operation. And similarly we can also do subtraction, multiplication, addition and everything. So here difference of a and b. If I do b minus a, that will give you 10. So here I'll just say b minus a. The brackets I have put. B minus a will give you the result, and it will append it to this particular string. Similarly, a star b will multiplication will do, and a slash b will return a question, that is 2, and a percentile b will return the remainder, that is 0. Okay, these are all basic, very basic arithmetic operations. Now let's run this code. Now you can see here, sum of a and b is 30, difference of a and b is 10, multiplication is 200, 10 into 10 into 20, and division of A and B. It gives just reminder. If I say divided 20 with the 10, the reminders will give you 0, right? And the quotient value is 10. So this is the value we will get. So these are the basic arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo division. Okay. So for this we have 5 different symbols. These are all called arithmetic operators. You can just play with them later. Now I'm going to show you other operators. Next one is relational operators. So these are very important stuff. So let me just go through this. Relational operators are also called as a comparison operators. Relational operators are also called as a comparison operators. So relational operators always returns a boolean value. Remember this. Always returns a boolean value. So why it is returns boolean value? Let us see. I have A and B here. A value and B value. I want to compare whether these are equal or not. So for example, when I say here system dot out dot println, I'll say A double equal to B. So here there is a difference between equal to and double equal to. So equal to is an assignment operator. It will assign some value to this variable. And double equal to is a comparison operator. It will compare a B value with A. If both are equals, it returns true. If both are not equals, it returns false. Okay, so here it is basically a comparing it. So equal to is a comparison operator or relational operator. So what this will return now? As per our expectation, it returns false because A and B are not equal values. Now let's run this. It returns false. Okay, suppose I make A value also 20. Now this should return true. Okay, so this is a relational operator. Especially we use these operators while doing the certain conditions. Okay, so now let's change this value again, be back to 10. So similarly, I will also use other operators. Let's say A greater than B, and then A less than B, and then I'll say A greater than or equal to B, and then A less than or equal to B, and then A not equal to B, A not equal to B. Okay, so these are the operators I use. So now let's see what we will get as an output. So every operator will return a boolean value, either true or false. Now let us see. A is 10, B is 20. So based on these values, we can just compare these operators. Let's see. This one returns false because both are not equal. A greater than B. So greater than operator will perform whether A is greater than B or not. It will verify. If A greater than B, if A is greater than B, it will return true. If A is not greater than B, it returns false. So as per our values, A is not greater than B, right? So this will return false. This will also return false. Now A less than B. So A is 10, B is 20. So 10 less than 20 condition is true. So 10 is lesser than 20. So this will returns true. Now the third condition. So A greater than or equal to B. So what is the difference between greater than and greater than or equal to? Here it will verify two conditions. It will return true if A greater than B. Even if it is not greater than, at least it should be equal. It should be equal. Either A greater than B or A equal to B. If both the conditions, any one of these conditions are true, then finally it will return true. So for example here, A is 10, B is 20, right? So when I run this code, so this is our fourth entry, right? So let's say fourth entry is false. It is written false. Why it is written false? Because A is not greater than B and also A is not equal to B. Both conditions are false. So it returns false here. So for example, I'll say A becomes 30 now. So in this case, 30 greater than or equal to B. Condition is true. So equal to is not, but it is greater than, right? So now if I run this, it will give you true. Suppose this time I give A is also 20. Now here A is not greater than B, but still A is equal to B. The condition is true. So this time it will also returns a true. Okay, so this is the one. So this is how we need to work with greater than or equal to operator. So it will verify two conditions and is again similar to A less than B. So A is less than or equal to. Either one of the conditions should become true. Now A is 10, B is 20. So it returns true. And A not equal to B. So A is 10, B is 20. So A not equal to B we are saying. So this will returns true because both are not equal. Now let's run this. You will get exact values here from here. False, false, true, false, false, true, then false, true, true. So false, true, true. So always the relational operators are returns either true or false. That means a boolean value will be returned. So normally we use these statements in conditional statements. If else condition. If you want to verify something, if you want to do certain validations, we are going to use these statements. Next, let's discuss about logical operators. Logical operators. So these logical operators will compare if you have only two operands. Suppose we have only this is the one expression, this is another expression. We have two operands, we can just go and check the relational operators, fine. But if you have more expressions like this, then we need to go and use logical operators. So if you want to verify certain relation between more expressions, then we need to go for logical operators. So these logical operators will work between two boolean values. Remember this. This logical operator works between two boolean values. Boolean values. So two variables should require, and those two variables either true or false. So let me show you how these AND or NOT operators works. Okay, let me just take a small Excel file. Let me write it here. So let's say I have a variable called X. Okay, so let me just maximize the font. Okay, so I have a variable called X and Y. So I'll say X and Y. X or Y and not X, and or not. So these are the logical operators we have. So let me just take this. So X is a variable, Y is a variable. X and Y, what this will return? X or Y, not X. So let's say X contains a variable called as a true. So as I said, and or not operator works between two boolean values. So X is a true, Y is also true. Now what could be this AND operator? So let's say different combinations. True, true, and this is true. Let's say this is false, and this is false, and this is true. This is false, and this is again false. So now I have covered all the combinations, right? Now based on these combinations, we'll see what we will get here. So even AND or operators also return either true or false boolean value, but on what basis it will return? Let's see. So AND operator will returns true if X and Y are true. Both should be true, and then only final value will be the true. And rest of the cases it will return false. Okay, so here I'll just say true here. So because X is true, Y is true, so that it returns true. And rest of the cases, one of them is false, the final value will be the false. Final value will be the false. And this is also false, returns false, this is also return false. This is the behavior of AND operators. AND means it will compare two expressions, so two boolean values, and finally it will return the output. If both are true, then only the final value will be the true, and rest of the cases it is false. Similarly, OR operator. So OR operator will returns true even one of them is true. At least one value should be true, and then it will returns true. So for example, in the first combination, true is there, so it returns true. In the second combination, true is present, so it is again returns true. In third combination, again true present, so it also returns true. And the fourth combination, we don't have any true here. Both the values are not true, so finally it will return false here. So this is a behavior of OR operator. OR means either X or Y. Either one of them should be true. Then only it will return true. AND means X and Y. Both should be true. Then only it will return true. The rest of the cases it will return false. Now OR is a negation. Not X is a negation. Not is a negation. So suppose X value is true. Not X obviously becomes a false. And X value is a false. And not X value becomes a true. Okay, so this is a completely opposite. So let's I'll copy this here. These are all logical operators. Okay, you guys can see this later. Now I'll just demonstrate this here. I'll just finish it up another 5 minutes. So how to use this logical operator? So let's create two variables here. Boolean, let's say X is equal to, I'll make it as a true, and I'll get one more variable Boolean Y is equal to false. This is your false. Fine. So now I'll just create a few statements here. See system.out.println X and Y. So X and operator I have used. And operator means both should be true. Then only it will return true. In all other cases, it will return false. Now in this case, X is true, Y is false. So what this will should true? What should it returns? False. And X or Y. Or means one of them should be true. So here X is true, so that it is completely written as a true. So not X means a negation. If X is true, not X will be false. Suppose if I say not Y, let's say not Y, so Y is false, so this should be true. This is completely opposite. Okay, so again, these also we can use as with the conditional statements. In the coming sessions, I'm going to use this very frequently. Fine, so let's run this code now. So I'll just differentiate system.out.println. These are logical operators. I'll just write some divider here because I can separate them. Okay, the same thing I will write here. These are all relational operators. Relational operators. And here these are all arithmetic operators. Just a printing purpose I'm writing here. Okay, arithmetic operators. So let's run this code. Okay, now you can see here. These are the values of outputs of arithmetic operators. These are relational operators. Now these are the logical operators. Now let's verify this. False, true, false, true. Okay, same thing we are expecting here. False, true, false, true. Okay, so these are all called Java operators. We have a last operator, increment or decrement operator. These are very simple one. So normally when you increment or decrement a value, we will do like this. Let me just show you. So if you have a variable called, let's say a is equal to 10. So here already I defined this variable above, right? So I can just reassign the value here, or else we can use the same value. So a is equal to 10, right? So I want to increment the value of a by 1. So how we will write the statement normally? A is equal to a plus 1. This is a normal expression we'll write. So what this will do is, a value is 10, 10 plus 1, 11. So the 11 is a new value which will be assigned to the a. Now here if I print the value of a, system.out.println, if I say value of a, if I print, that gives you 11. So 11. So this is how we can increment a value. Same thing we can also do by using plus plus operator. That is a Java operator, increment operator. Now we can say a plus plus. So when I say a plus plus, this is exactly the same as A equal to A plus 1. Okay, now let's print it. Okay, now again it gives the same. Okay, so this will also give the same. So either we can go for this expression, or we can also use shortcut of A plus plus means it will increment by 1 always. And similarly we have a decrement operator. Suppose let us say again B is equal to 20. Now I want to decrement by 1. So how we will write the statement? B is equal to B minus 1. Now if you want to print this value, I can say system dot out dot println, I'll just say B. Now when I run this, this will give you 19 as an output. Now the same expression I can write by using minus minus operator. Let's say B minus 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 minus. So it will decrease the value by 1. It will also give the same output. Now let's run this. This will also give the same output. So that is 90. So plus plus and minus minus are called as an increment on decrement operators. This comes under the increment or decrement operators. Plus plus and minus minus. And this is purely related to Java. And C, C++ also we have these operators. And finally we have an assignment operator. So we already know about this. Assignment operator means we can just assign a value to the variable, and then we can use the equal to. There's an assignment operator. Okay, so these are all called operators in Java. So we have seen different type of operators: arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, increment or decrement operators, and then assignment operator. Okay, so guys, are you clear now how we can use these operators? So what are the variables, what are the data types, what are the operators? Okay, so please confirm in the chat window if you're yes. Right, so now I just stop for today here. Now you guys need to start doing assignment from today onwards. So what I can do is, whatever topics I have explained today's session, so just you guys should install this Java and Eclipse, and then try to complete these assignments. Okay, just I'll give you a few assignments. Just hold on. So assignments. So the first, second, and the third one. See, now the first assignment is write a Java program to print hello on screen, then print your name on the separate line. So when I run your program, you will see the output like hello and your name. So it is very simple. So you have to get like this as an output. And the second program, write a Java program to print the sum of two numbers. So let's take two different variables and store these values and add those two values and print as an output. And the third program, write a Java program to swap two numbers. So for example, I have created two variables, A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. I want to swap these numbers. So swapping means B value will be assigned to the A value will be assigned to the B. So after swap, I want to get values like A is equal to 20 and B is equal to 10. So here we need to apply a small logic. Just think about it, how we can swap these variables. It's very simple. We need to take some temporary variable called C, and we need to assign, let me just show you the logic. You can just implement this. So very simple. So A and B, right? So it contains a value, it contains a B. So I want to exchange these values, or I can swap these values. Very simple. Let's take a variable called as a C, assign A value to the C. Now what is the C value now? 10. Now let's assign B value to the A. Now what happens? B value to assign to the A. Now what is the current value? A? 10. Now again, so A value assigned to the B, B value assigned to the A. Now assign this A value or C value to the B. Now what happens here? 10 is assigned to the C, so current value of C is 10. B is assigned to the A. What is the B value? 20. So current value of A is 20. Now C assigned to the B. What is the C value? Here 10. So 10 is assigned to the B. Now what's the B value now? 10. So here the values have been swapped. So now A becomes 20, B becomes 10. So you need to apply this logic and try this as a part of assignment. Okay. So that's all for today. So just try to complete this assignment, and the Google Drive. What I will do is I will just create a folder for you. I'll give you the write access, and you can just copy all your assignments in that particular folder. So let me just show you how to do this. Okay, so this is your Google Drive. So on the day one, and I'll copy all day wise folders, everything. So now here I will create a new folder for you guys. Folder. So I'll just give as assignments. I'll give name as assignments. Okay, just create. And inside the assignment folder, okay, you guys should create your own folders with your name. Okay, so for example, I'm just creating a new folder here for I think Urvashi, right? So I'll just create Urvashi. Okay, like this, you need to just create folders with your name, and I'll give you the write access on this folder. You need to just copy your files. So how to copy your files, I'll show you. Just open up the folder, keep this one side, and you already done these programs, right? So where these programs will be stored in your workspace, or you can just select all these programs by pressing Control key. You can select all of them. Control C, copy them, and copy them somewhere in your desktop like this. You will get as a text files, right? So then just drag and drop like this. Then automatically these files will be uploaded to your folder. Okay, so as soon as you have completed your assignments, you have to do like this every day. Okay, so guys, are you clear now how to do this? So I'll give you write access in few minutes. You guys can try this later. Okay, for now it is just adding, so I'm just removing this file. So I have just created for Urvashi. Others, please create your own folders. Okay, so that's all for today, and I'll stop it here. If you have any questions or concerns, right. So in the today's session, I'm going to show you how to use these conditional statements in Java, and how to use loops or iterative statements and jump statements. So let us discuss about these things first. So whenever you are writing some programs in Java, so normally the scripts will execute, or your code will execute top to bottom. So for example, so the code will be like this: line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so execution is always happen at top to bottom. So this in this direction. So sometimes, as per your requirement, you need to execute set of statements based upon certain condition. Okay, suppose if the condition is something true, I need to execute this set of statements. Or suppose this condition is false, then I need to execute another set of statements. Okay, so this is a kind of a scenario where we need to use a conditional statement. We don't execute all the command, all the statements. If the certain condition is true, we'll execute this piece of code. If the condition is false, then we'll execute another piece of code. So how we can do this? So this can be achieved by using, this is a one scenario. This can be achieved by using conditional statements, which are provided by Java. And we have if condition, if else condition, switch case, all this comes under the conditional statement, or we can also call them as a selection statement. So based on the condition, we'll execute certain number of statements. The other one we have is loops or iterative statements. Suppose sometimes we need to execute the piece of code every time. So for example, I have code like this. So again, the code will go top to bottom, execution will happen top to bottom. So some set of statements we need to execute again and again, repetitively, or 5 times or 10 times or 50 times or 100 times. So if you want to repeat the same set of statements multiple times based on certain condition, again here condition will come into the picture. Based on certain condition, Then we can go for loops or iterative statements. We have while loop, do while loop, for loop, which are all comes under the looping conditions or iterative statements. And both are works on based on condition only, but the first command will execute the code only one time. If the condition is true, this code will execute. If the condition is false, then another code will execute. But in case of iterative statements, the same piece of code will execute again and again multiple times based upon the condition we provided. So that's the difference between these two, and which are comes under the Java control statements. And we have a jump statements. So for example, I'm repeating something every time. So in between, I want to exit somehow based on certain condition. So I need to jump outside of this particular program based on certain condition, and then I can go for jumping statement. So we have a break and continue commands which comes under jump statements. So this very high level overview of conditional statements, looping statements, and jumping statements all are comes under the Java control statement because we are controlling the script or code. So now let us discuss one by one. What are the conditional statements we have in Java? So in Java we have two kinds of conditional statements. The first one is if else condition. If else condition. So let us see how to use this if else condition. So the syntax of if else condition will be like this. If in the bracket we need to say one condition and open brace and close brace. So this is called as a if block. This is called as a if block. And within the open curly brace and closed curly brace, we need to put the code. Suppose if this condition is true, it returns true, then if block will execute. The set of statements we need to specify here. Let's say statements. So set of statements will be executed. Suppose if this condition is false, then else block will execute. So here also we need to write certain number of statements. So if the condition is true, these statements will execute. If the condition is false, then else block will execute. But at a time, either it will execute either if block or else block. So based on the condition. Now this is a syntax of if else condition. Now let's see a few examples on this particular conditional statement. Now we already created a project, right? So I'll just a moment. This is our project. So I'm going to create a new package day 3. So I'm going to create the first one by using if else condition. I'll show you one example here. Let's take a new class and I'll give a name is if else condition example. If else condition. So let's take a main method finish. So now here I'll write a small code. So my logic is, for example, a person age is, let's say some age number will assign, let's say integer. I'll take a variable called age and let's say his age is 20. So now I want to validate if the person age is greater than or equal to 18, then he is eligible for vote. Okay, so if his age is less than 18 or less than 18, is not eligible for vote. So that's my condition. So how we can validate this? So let's write if condition now. So here I will write if, and within the bracket we need to put a condition. So what is our condition here? As I said, if age is greater than or equal to 18, he is eligible for vote. And his age is less than 18, he is not eligible for vote. So that's my condition, manual condition. So how we can add this? If age is my variable, greater than or equal to is an operator. What kind of operator it is? It is relational operator. So age greater than or equal to 18. If this condition is true, and then it will enter into the if block. If this condition is false, it will not enter here. Okay, if the condition is true, then only it will enter into the if block. So inside this I will write system.out.println. I'll just say eligible for vote. This is a simple message I have given. So when this message will execute, the statement will execute only if this condition is true. Suppose age value I have given, let's say 15. So in this case, what happens? Age is 15. 15 greater than or equal to 18 is false. So in those cases, it will execute another block called as a else block. So in this case, else block will execute. Here, I'll write the same statement again, and he is not eligible for vote. Not eligible for vote. So at a time, only either if block or else block will execute based on the condition. Now, suppose if you have only one statement inside the block, these braces are optional. These curly braces are optional, not at all required. If we have only single statement. Okay, even else also, here we don't require the brackets. If you have only one statement under these conditions. Suppose if you have more number of statements, we must specify them inside the curly braces. Okay. But always I'll just suggest to keep in brackets even if it is a one statement, because while seeing the code itself you will clearly understand, okay, these are the particular statements or comes under this particular if block, and these are the certain number of statements which are comes under the else block. But if you have one statement under this block, you don't need to keep inside the curly braces. Okay, so Urvashi is asking question, if we do not give the else part is not, no. Even if you don't require else blocks, if you want to use only if condition without else block also, you can still use. Else block is optional. Okay, suppose in this case what happens? If the condition is true, this statement will execute. If the condition is not false, I haven't specified anything else, right? So it will just exit the program. Now let's run the only if condition. Suppose if I say 15, so suppose if I say 20, okay, now the condition is true. Now this block will execute. Now let's run this. So we will get this output, eligible for out. Suppose if I say 15, so this condition is false. So if this condition is false, what else should happen? That I haven't specified here. So it will not give anything. It will just run and exit the program. You will not get any output. But in negative case, suppose if the condition is false, if the age is less than 18, what should happen? So if you want to specify other condition, then you have to go for else block. Else is not mandatory, but it is useful. Okay, because whenever we say certain condition, both positive and negative, so both will be there, right? Maybe condition becomes true or maybe the condition becomes false. So this is how we need to use if else condition. So if block, if the condition is true, this block will execute, or if the condition is false, then else block will execute. Now let us see. Age equal to 15. So as per our expectation, it should not match this condition, right? Condition becomes false, and then else block will execute. Now let's run this code. Not eligible for vote. So else block is executed. I'll say 20 now, and now run this code. Now this gives eligible for vote. So this is a kind of an example, small example. So wherever we need to verify certain condition as per your requirement, then we need to use if else condition. Okay, remember this. And I'll show you one more example. This is a syntax you need to remember. So I'll show you one more example. Suppose I'll give a number here. I'll assign some number. I need to find out whether the number is even number or odd number. Okay, so programmatically I need to find out. Let's see how we can do this. I'll create one more example here. I click new class. I'll name it as even or odd. Even or odd number. So program should find out. So let's take a variable called number. Int number. I'll take one variable num is equal to, let's say, some number called 5. So programmatically I need to find out whether this number is even number or odd number. So guys, can anyone guess how we can say whether number is even or odd number? If I ask you what are all even numbers, you can easily say like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? You can say. And if I ask you what are the odd numbers, you can say like 3, 5, 7, 9. But how we will differentiate? How the program will know whether the number is even or odd number? So there is a mathematical stuff we have here. If any number, yes, yes, exactly, you are right, Naveen. If any number is divided by 2, it produces a 0 as a reminder, that is an even number. Okay. And if any number is divided by 2, it produces a 1 as a reminder, that's an odd number. Okay, that's the logic behind that. Okay, so let's see how we can find out whether the number is even or odd number. So let's write a condition here. If number, I'll use percentile operator because this will give you the reminder. So number divided by 2. If number is divided by 2, if it produces 0 as an output. So observe the guys here. Here I have used two operators. This is your arithmetic operator and this is your logical operator. And this equal to will compare these values, the output of num divided by 2 with 0, whether they are equal or not. This is called comparison operator. Now if number divided by equal to 0, and then if the condition is true, it is also a condition, right? Num divided by 2 equal to 0, then what should we say? Number is even number. Say number is even number. Okay, so this is the first condition. So else another one. So if this condition is false, then what else we need to write? So the number is odd number. Okay, number is odd number. So you need to just carefully write all these phrases correctly. So this is a simple condition again. So number is even or odd number. So for now I have given an odd number called 5. So as per our expectation, else block will execute. Now you can see here number is odd number. I'll just say 10 now. Okay, number is even number. So if the condition is true, else block will execute. If the condition is false, if the condition is true, if block will execute. If the condition is false, else block will execute. Okay, this is the one of the example by using if else condition. Fine. So similarly, you can also I'll also give you a few assignments. You guys can try this. Okay, how we can do. Or else let me show you one more example. Then we go for other conditional statements. For example, I have two numbers. I need to find out which number is a larger number. Okay, so let's see one more example. Let's take in a class. I'll say largest of two numbers. Okay, so here I will take two numbers. Let's say int a is equal to 10, int b is equal to 20. So two numbers I have taken here, a and b. So I want to find out which number is greater. So through programmatically. So very simple logic. So if you find the condition like this, if a is greater than b, if this is a true, okay, if a greater than b is a condition, if a is 10, b is 20. So if this is the condition is true, then obviously we can say a is largest. Println who is this? Sent a message. Eclipse, when I creating a class, finish. I think. Okay. Okay, Smita. I'll check it after the session. Okay. Just please wait for a few minutes. So system.out.println. Here I will just say a is largest number. So very simple. So I have created two different variables a and b. I need to find out which one is a greater. So if we want to verify this, we should have a condition statement. So if is a conditional statement. If a greater than b, If this condition is true, then if block will execute. So inside this, what we have kept here is system.out.println A is largest. Suppose if this condition is false, then obviously B is largest, right? So else, in the else block, we need to write this statement. So B is largest. Simple. So now as per our expectation, A is not greater than B, right? B is the largest number. Now let's run this. You will get the B is largest. Suppose I'll make A is 50. Now when I run this, it will give you A is the largest number. Okay. So this is how we need to use the conditional statement, if else condition. Basically use it for checking certain condition. Okay, so now we have seen how to use if else condition. So in your program, and set of statements can be executed only if the certain condition is true or matched. So in these cases, we need to go for conditional statements. That's the first thing. And this is one of the conditional statement, if else. And there is one more flavor we have called as a nested if else condition. Same if else, we can suppose if you have more number of conditions, not only single condition, if you have more number of conditions, then we need to go for nested if else condition. Nested if else. So I'll tell you how to use this nested if else. When we need to go for nested if else, if we have more number of condition, here we have only one condition, so one if, one else is enough. But if you have more than one condition, then we need to go for if else condition. So how this will work, let me just show you. So first we need to start with if condition, and here we need to provide condition 1, first condition. If it is true, here we'll execute the statements. Suppose if the condition 1 is false, then I need to provide one more condition. So else, and one more if followed by else. So again, here we need to write one more condition, condition 2. Okay, if this condition is true, then statements will execute, another set of statements. Even if the condition number 2 is false, then again one more statement we can provide. Else, again one more if, condition 3. So if this condition is true, then statements will execute, another set of statements will execute, and close this. And finally, if none of the condition is true, then at the end we'll say only else block. Only else block. So here I'll just say statements, few more statements. Now observe this here. How this nested if else work is, first it will check the condition 1. If it is true, and these set of statements will execute, and it will never verify the other condition. It will not go to other conditions because the first condition itself is matched. Suppose condition 1 is not matched, it returns false, then it will come to the second condition, condition 2. And if it is true, then these statements will execute and it will not proceed further. Here it gets stopped. Suppose if the condition 2 is also not matched or it returns false, then it will go to third condition. If the third condition is true, then it will execute these statements and it will stop there itself. And if the condition 3 is also false, then finally comes to the else block. So in the nested if else statement, at the end we should have only else block, because if the none of the condition is not matched, then finally comes to the else block. Okay, so this is the syntax we need to follow if you have more than one condition. So to do this, I will just write a small program using nested if else condition. Let's take a new class, I'll say nested if else. So what I'm going to do in this program is, I will just take a variable int day number, so 1 to 7. So from 1 to 7, just take any a week number. So based on the number which I have provided here, it should display the week name. Okay, that's my program. So I'll provide some number here. Based on the number, our program should tell us what is the name of the week. If I say 1 here, it should say Monday. like that. So let's see how we can do this. So here I need to have multiple conditions, like if day is equal to 1, just print so and so week, and if the day is equal to 2 and other week, day is equal to 3, 4, 5, 6. So how many conditions we need to put? Total 7 conditions we have to include here, right? So let's see how we can write this. So let's start with if condition. If, so first condition, what is the first condition? If day is equal to 1. If this condition is true, here I'll write system dot out dot println. I'll just print, I'll just start from Sunday. Okay, so this is the first message. And if this condition is false, if the day value is not equal to 2, not equal to 1, so the other condition, else if again, and there should be some space between else if. And also you can write this if condition in next line, so nothing wrong in this. Okay, so else if, one more condition, again day equal to 2. So first condition is not matched, then it will come to the second condition. If the day is equal to 2, then here I write the again same message, and here I will just change as a Monday. Okay, again one more condition. If day 2 is also not matched, again I'll put one more condition, else if day equal to 3, and then here specify same statement again. This time I'll just say Tuesday. And similarly we need to add a few more conditions like this. If else, again day 4, I'll just say Wednesday. And again day 5, this is Thursday. And day 6, I'll just say Friday. Okay, see, and one more condition, last condition, 7th one. Here I'll just say Saturday. Okay, observe this carefully. So based upon the value I have given here, that will verify which condition exactly will suitable for this. So first it will start from the first condition, day value 1. If it is true, it will print this message, and here itself it will stop. It will never go to other conditions. And similarly, if the condition 2 is true, day is equal to 2 is true, then Monday will print and it will not go to other condition. Similarly, we will check each and every condition based upon our value. And if none of the conditions have not matched, finally we have to also specify the last block called only else block. So here I can just say system.out.println invalid week number. I'll just say here invalid week number. If the week number is not matched with 1 to 7, so that's an invalid week number. So that I will just print in else block. Okay, so this is how we can specify multiple conditions. If we have more than one condition, we need to use else if condition, else if. Okay, now let's run this. So for now I'll just say 1 here, means the first condition itself will match and rest of them are ignored. Now let's run this code. So it gives Sunday. Now I'll just say 3 here, so that means it should print Tuesday. Now run as Java application. So it is invalid week number. Why it is giving invalid week number? Oh, sorry, this is 1, right? So here I need to change. So day is equal to 3 means the third condition will match. Now let's run this. So Tuesday, condition 3 is matched. Suppose when I say 7 here, 7, so it will reach to last condition. So it will give Saturday. Fine. Suppose if I give some 1 to bit, not 1 to 7, I'll give some different number called 10. So if I say day is equal to 10, none of the conditions have not matched. So finally it will come to the else block, and then it will give you invalid week number. It gives you invalid week number. So this is how we need to use if you have more number of conditions, by using nested if else condition. Okay, this is another flavor of same if else only, but here we have added few more conditions. Okay, this is also very useful, just remember this. Now, so here we discussed about two conditional statement. One is if else and nested if else. And here there is one more conditional statement we have called as a switch case statement. Switch case. This is another conditional statement. So when we need to go for switch case, why we should have these many conditional statements? So the first thing is if you have only one condition, the first one is enough. Only if else, this is enough. Suppose if you want to verify more conditions, then we need to go for this approach, nested if else. And one more thing here, if we have at least 2 to 3 conditions, then it is fine. We can go for nested if else statement. Suppose if you want to verify, like let's say 10 condition or 20 condition or 50 conditions you have to verify. So in those cases, if I use this nested if else statements, your program will be very huge. Okay, the code will be very lengthy. So to avoid that, what we can do is we can just use switch case statement. So that will reduce your programming code. But in the real time when you're writing your script, so you always need to make sure to reduce the code. Okay, you should not write a large number of statements. You always try for reducing your code, because that will affect the performance levels. If your code is very huge, that will impact the speed of your execution. So here if you have more number of conditions, you can still use nested if else condition, but if you have at least 3, 4, max 5 conditions, and then you can go for nested if your conditions are more than 5, okay, and then go for nested switch case statement. So there is we have another kind of control conditional statement, that is switch case statement. Now I'll show you how to use this switch case statement. And the same program, same thing I'm going to write by using switch case statement. Then you will see how much code it will reduce. Okay, now let's see. Let me just close this program for now. How many lines of code we have data? Approximately 40 plus, right? So now the same program, same kind of logic I will implement by using switch case statement. Now let's create another class, and before that let's see what the syntax of switch case. So if you want to use switch case, the syntax will be like this. Switch is a keyword. Here we need to write expression, not a condition. I'll tell you what is this expression. And within the switch block, we need to write all the conditions. And here we need to write conditions by using case key. Okay. So case, here I'll write one condition. There's a condition 1 and colon. And here we need to write set of statements. And after writing statements, just put the semicolon. And similarly, we can just put the case keyword for all the condition 1, 2 and 3 and so on. We can add any number of conditions, but finally we need to end with the default block. Default is a keyword, so here we need to again write some statements and then exit. And one more important thing is, after completion of these statements, we also should use a break command here. I'll tell you why we need to use break command. But in the default block, we don't require break. So this is a syntax of switch case statement. So switch is case. These are the two keywords. And in the switch, here we need to say expression, not the condition. Condition is different. Expression is different. I'll tell you what is this expression. And if this condition, if this expression internally it will come here, it will verify this condition one by one. So if first condition is true, then set of statements will execute, and then break will execute. So what the break will do is it will come out from complete switch block. Okay, complete this block, it will come out, because as soon as this condition 1 is matched, I don't need to verify other conditions. Right, so that's the reason I need to specify break command. If I don't specify this break command, what happens is Java program again it will go and verify the other conditions. Even though if the condition 1 is matched, still it will go to check the second condition and again go to third condition. Finally it will reach to default. So but that is not required. As soon as we condition 1 is true, then execute the statement and come out from the switch block. So that's the reason we need to put break command. But in the default part, here we don't require break. Why? Because this is the last statement in switch block. So after this default, we don't have any conditions, right? This is the last one. So anyway, this by default will exit from the switch after completion of default block. So that's the reason break is not required for default block. Let me show you an example by using switch case statement. Now I'm going to write the same program by using switch condition now. So go to new class. I will name it as switch case statement. Switch case statement. Let's take a main method. Finish. Fine. So again, I'll use the same. I'll take a integer variable into day is equal to, let's say, some number. So now I'm going to write a switch case statement to verify the day value and corresponding week name I'll display in the console window. So the syntax for like this. So switch. So I said the expression here. Expression means this is a variable. Simple. So whatever variable we have taken, that variable we have to specify here. Then in the if block here, it will start with open brace and close with end brace, curly braces. Here we need to write multiple cases. Suppose day value is 1. Okay, so here the case value will match exactly with this day variable. So if the day value is 1 colon, here I need to write the statement system dot out dot println. I'll just say Sunday. Okay, this is the statement. And after semicolon, you can just write a break command. Or you can also put this break in the next line. This is also right. So if the day value is equal to 1, and then these two statements will execute. Suppose day value is not equal to 1, then we need to write one more case. Case 2. So this 1 and 2 are the values of the day. Okay, we should not give these numbers according to our requirement. So here we need to write. So whatever the day value we are giving, those values only we need to compare. This 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Okay. So again, I'll write the same messages here. And this is your Monday. So again, if I write break command in the next line, code will be again increased. So what I can do is I'll write the break command in the same line. You can still write it. So now case 2. So here I'll write a break command. Right. So now similarly I can write multiple cases, multiple conditions. C1, 2, now 3. This is your Tuesday. And if the case is 4, this is Wednesday. And the case is 5, and this is Thursday. And the case is 6, Friday. And this is 7, Saturday. Now all the cases have been completed, all the conditions are completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And suppose if none of the cases not matched, finally default block will execute. So here I need to say default. You can say here we don't require break. So here I'll just say invalid week number. Invalid week number. So here we don't require break command because this itself is a last statement in this block. Okay, so this is how we need to use a switch case commands. Here we need to say a variable name, and here we need to write a conditions. If the day value is equal to 1, then these statements will execute. If the day value is equal to 2, second, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If the day value is not matched with 1 to 7, then finally it will execute the default block. Invalid week number. See now how much code it is reduced. Almost, if I use nested if else statement, that gives a 40 plus lines, right? This is with complete, almost it is 20 plus lines, right? Almost 50% of the code is reduced. So let's run this code. So first I'll give 1. So it should give as a Sunday. Okay. And I will give just 7. So it returns a Saturday, and then I'll just give some invalid number 10, and this should execute invalid week number. So default is executed. So this is how we need to use switch case command. Okay, remember this. This is again alternative of nested if else. These are all comes under the conditional statement. So what are all statement we discussed? If else condition, nested if else, and switch case. These three all comes under conditional statement or selection statements. Okay. So guys, are you clear? So please confirm on the chat window. So I'll give you assignments on this. You just guys can practice, and then you will be familiar with this. Okay. Fine. So these are all conditional statement. If a certain condition has become true, then execute the statements. If the condition is false, then execute the other set of statements. So this we can achieve by using if else. And if you have more than one condition, we can go for nested if else. And if still we have more conditions, then we have to use switch case. So these are all comes under the conditional statements. Now let's discuss about loops or iterative statements. So what is a loop? Loop is a set of statements, a block which will repeat multiple times. Okay, so loop is, let me write a definition here. Loop is set of statements, maybe it one statement or multiple statements, can be repeated multiple times based on a condition. This is the definition of a loop. Now if you want to repeat same number of statements again and again, you need to go for loop. So let me just show you why we need to go for looping statement. What is the requirement of repeating the same statements? Suppose I want to print 1 to 100 numbers. I want to print 1 to 100 numbers as an output. So how to print it? If we don't use any conditional statement or looping statements, so I should write 100 system.out.println statement, right? So system.out.println, I'll just print 1. Again system.out.println, I'll just print 2. Like this, I need to write 100 statements if you want to print 1 to 100, right? So this is a very toughest task because we cannot write the same thing multiple times. So here we can reduce this code. What I can do is I'll just write only one statement that I will repeat 100 times. 100 times I will repeat. Every time when I'm printing the value, I don't hardcode this value here. Every time I will just pass a dynamic value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. But same statement will repeat every time. So this can be achieved by using looping statements which are provided by Java. Okay, so let's see a few examples for this. So there are three different loops we have. One is while loop, the other one is do while loop, the other one is for loop. So these are the three different looping statements we have in Java. So let us see one by one how to use it. So first let us start with the while loops. How to use this while loop. So the while loop syntax will be like this. First we need to start with a while, and within the bracket we need to say certain condition, and here open brace and close brace. So inside this block we need to write a statements. So let's write statements. So now what happens is, before executing these statements, it will check this condition. So if this condition is true, then only it will enter into this block and execute the set of statements. If the condition is false, then it will never enter into this. It will just exit from the while condition. So here we need to focus on two important things. One is we need to write a limit here. So what is the starting and ending limit? And always the condition should match. And some point of time we need to exit from this loop. We need to make this condition become false. Okay. Otherwise it will go on repeating the same thing again and again. So we need to write this condition in such a way that at some point of time this condition should become false. Otherwise this loops keep on continuing. So let me show you how to use this. This is a syntax. Okay. Now let's write this one. what I will write is, so I want to just print 1 to 10 numbers. I want to print 1 to 10 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, still 10. So how we can print by using while condition? Let's see. I'll take a new class. I will name it as a while loop main method. Fine. So I want to print 1 to 10 numbers. Okay. So how we need to print it? So where I need to start from 1, right? So let's take a variable called I. I'll start from 1, so I can just initiate 1. I is a simple variable. You can just take any, you can just say any other name for this variable. So I'll just take it I. I is equal to 1. I'll start from 1. So the logic will be like this. So I need to start for 1 to 10 numbers I need to print, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So first I'll initiate I value here. I is equal to 1, and then I will print this I value here by using system.out.println. And then I will increment the I value. You increment the I value means I plus plus. And I value becomes 2, the condition will again will match, and then 2 will be printed. Then again increment the 2. Increment 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So whenever the I value reaches 10, and there I will exit from the loop. Okay. So I value increment every time. So let's see how we can write this. So I'll write while the condition. What is the condition? I less than or equal to 10. So what I'm saying here, I is equal to 1. So whenever I value still I value less than or equal to 10 means whenever I value is less than or equal to 10, just I will print that Y value here. Inside the while loop, I'll just say system.out.println. I'll just print the value of I. So if I see here, I is 1, here the condition is true, I less than or equal to 10, condition is true, then it will print the I value here. Okay, and again it will go up. Okay, again it will go up. Again check the condition because this is the loop. Because loop is nothing but same statement will execute again and again. How many times this statement will execute like this? Till this condition become false. So if I don't make this condition false, then it will go to infinite loop. It's keep on executing. Okay, and certain point of time we need to make this condition false, and then only it will come out from this while block. Now let's see. First I value 1, so the condition is true. Now I have printed I. Now again it will go up. Again still I value 1. So again condition is true. Again it will print. And third time again I value 1. Every time I value same. So this condition never become false, right? So when I run this, this will go to infinite loop. See now it's keep on printing all ones. The program will never exit. Okay, so we need to exit this unexpectedly. Just stop it. So if I don't, I provided the condition, but I haven't made this condition false at certain point of time. So what should we do now? So we need to add a count here. So we need to increment that value every time. After printing of this I value, here I'll just say I plus plus. What is I plus plus? It will increment by 1. So as soon as I printed here, it will print 1 first time, and then immediately I incremented it. So I value becomes 2 now. Again it will go up 2 less than or is equal to 10. The current value of I is 2. So 2 less than or equal to 10. Condition is true again. So again it will come inside, and this time again it will print I value. So what's the current value of I? 2 is the current value. Now again I plus plus. Now I becomes 3. So again it will go up, check the condition. 3 less than or is equal to 10. Condition is true. Now again it entered into while loop. So here 3 will be printed. So it will go on like this till 9, and again incremented by 1. Now I value becomes 10. So 10 less than or equal to 10. Still condition is true. So 10 also will print here. Now again it is incremented by 1. Now I value becomes 11. So as soon as I value becomes 11, then this condition become false. Again it will go and verify the condition. 11 less than or equal to 10. Condition become false. And then it will exit from the while loop. So by that time it will print all the values from 1 to 10. So this is how we need to write. So three things are very important. One is where we need to start. That is called initialization. And what is that condition? And how much we need to increment. Initialization, condition, and incrementation. These things are must and should for while loop. Okay, we need to start from one value and we need to put certain condition and we need to increment this value every time to become this condition of false. Okay, now let's run this code. It will give you 1 to 10 numbers. 1 to 10 numbers. Okay, fine. So now I'll just change this logic little bit. So this what this will print. And Justin is asking question, what is the difference between while and for loop? Because we can do the same with for loop. Okay, I haven't yet come there, Justin. So once I have completed while, do while, and for loop, then I will show you the differences. Okay, then I will talk about the differences. So still we are discussing about while loop, right? Just please wait for a few minutes. I'll come to that point. Okay. So now let's see. While is fine. So let's go for a same thing. I'll just I want to print this while loop will print 1 to 10 numbers, right? So let's say this is 1 to 10 numbers. Suppose I want to print only even numbers between 1 to 10. I want to print only even numbers between 1 to 10. So what are those numbers? 2, 4, 6, 8, right? So these are the only even numbers between 1 to 10. So even 10 also even. So how we can change this now? I'll just comment this. This is a multi-line comment. Okay, if you want to ignore this code at the runtime, you can just use /*/. So if you want to comment multiple lines, you have to use /* as a beginning, // as an end. So this piece of code will not be executed at the runtime. Suppose if you comment only one line, just says //. Okay. Now I want to print only even numbers between 1 to 10. Even numbers between 1 to 10. I want to print even numbers between 1 to 10. So how we can change this logic? So can you guys guess? Same program, same thing, but I want to change something here. Small change is required. I want to print even numbers. So between 1 to 10. So what I can do is, here every time I'm incrementing how much? I'm incrementing 1. So what's the first starting even number? 2 is a starting even number, right? So I'll just say I is equal to 2 now. So I will start I value 2 because 2 is a starting even number. So 2 less than or equal to 10. Condition is true. Now here it will print 2. And what's the next even number? 4. So if you want to get 4, how much I need to increment here? I have to increment by 2, right? So what I need to write here now, I is equal to I plus 2. This is the expression I need to write. So now I value becomes 4. 4, right? That is the next even number. So if I want to print only even numbers, I can just increase this value by 2. This is a normal expression, but in Java, we can write in shortcut way. So this we can write like this, I plus is equal to 2. This is a shortcut method. This is called as a shorthand operator in Java. So instead of writing the complete stuff, I can just say plus is equal to 2. I plus is equal to 2 means it will perform the same thing. I equal to I plus 2. Suppose I want to minus, I want to decrease by 2. So how to write this statement? I minus is equal to 2. That means it will reduce 2. If you want to increment one value, just use I plus plus. If you want to increment more than one value, then use this operator. I plus equal to just tell some number how much you need to increment. Okay, this is exactly equal to of this one. So this time I started from 2. So every time I verify this condition, and first time it 2, so 2 printed, next time it become 4, again it will go and check the condition, 4 less than or equal to 10, condition is true again, so this time it will print 4, again it will increment by 2, check the condition, so next value 6, 6 less than or equal to 10 is true, now again 6 will print, and again increment by 2, now this becomes 8, 8 less than or equal to 10 is true. Now 8 will print. Then again it will increment by 2, 10. 10 less than or equal to 10 is true. Again 10 will print. And now this becomes 12. So as soon as the I value becomes 12, then the condition becomes false. 12 less than or equal to 10 is false. So then the value will exit. Now run this code. This will give you only even numbers. Okay. So now you guys should tell, if I want to print only odd numbers, what are all changes I need to do here? Can anyone guess? I want to print only odd numbers. What are all changes I need to do here? Okay, so I just start from 1 here. That's the only change. Okay, because 1 is the first odd number, right? So now when I run this, every time 1 is incremented to 3. 3 plus 2 again 5. 5 plus 2 again 7. 7 plus 2 again 9. So here also we need to increment by 2 only. But again, for the first number we need to start from 1. So that will give you odd numbers. Okay, that's a very simple logic. Fine, so guys, I have understood how to use this while loop. So same set of statement we can execute multiple times by using a while condition. That's the main advantage of this. So please confirm on the chart window if you are clear, and then I will show you one more example. So now, for example, here in all three cases here, I have just incremented the value, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. In even numbers also have incremented the value. Now I want to print numbers in descending order. So for example, 10, 9, 8, 7, until 1 I want to print like this. 1, last number 1. So descending order, 10 to 1. So how we can do this? So let me comment this. So I want to print 1 to 10 in descending order. Into 1 to 10 in descending order. Descending order. Now let's see. Observe the logic first. Okay. Once you are clear about logic, it is very simple to implement code. So what is my requirement? This is my requirement. 10, 9, 8, until I have to reach 1. This is my requirement. So where we need to start now? What is the starting point? 10 is the starting point. So high value we need to start here. And every time we need to decrease this I value. So how we need to decrease the I value? I minus minus. So now we need to know, we know what is the initial value, how we need to decrement, and what is the condition. What is the condition? How to put the condition? I greater than 1 or I greater than 0. This is the condition. So first I value 10, it prints the I value, and then I minus minus, so it becomes 9. Again this condition is true, it will print 9, and minus minus, this time I value becomes 8. Now condition again true, and again print I 8 to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. 1 is also greater than 0, 1 is also printed. So I value as soon as it becomes 0, this condition becomes false. 0 greater than 0 false, right? So then condition will exit. Let's write this code. So where I need to start? I is 10. And this time we need to increment, we need to decrement. Instead of incrementation, we need to decrement the value. So the condition is I greater than 0. So if I want to print 1 to 10 numbers, all are greater than 0. So I need to print till 1. Whenever I value becomes 0, I should come out from the while block. So here I'll just say system dot out dot println. I'll just print value of I. After printing the I value, just make minus minus. It will decrease by 1. So now again repeat. It will again go here, check the condition. Now I value is 9. 9 greater than 0. Condition is true. Now again it will print 9 here. Again it will go up. Now this time I value becomes 8 because here we decremented. So every iteration we decrementing this value, and as soon as I value becomes 0, the condition become false, and by the time it will print all 10 to 1 numbers. Let's run this code. Now we can see how to put here 10, 9, 8, 7 till 1 we have printed. So as soon as I value becomes 0, then this condition false, and then it will come out from this while condition. Okay, so this is another logic we can just write. Not only increment, we can also do the decrementation part. So this is all about the while loop, how to use this while loop. So first we need to put initialization value and then put the condition and statement, and we must increment that value in this body. If I don't increment or decrement this value, the loop will go to infinite loop. It will keep on executing because this condition never become false if I don't put either incrementation or decrementation. So that's mandatorily required. So I hope you guys are clear about this. Now I'll move on to the next loop, that is do while loop. This is another one, do while loop. So how to use this do while loop? It is almost same as while loop, but a small difference we have. I'll tell you what is the difference. Same thing, I'll just do 1 to 10 numbers I will print by using a do while loop. Let's see how we can use it. And what is the syntax of do while loop? How to use this? So in the do while loop, the first it will start from do keyword, and then braces will start, here it will end, and at the end we have to specify the while and the condition and semicolon. See the difference between while and do while. In the while loop, the syntax is different. It started from while and we include that condition. We should not put the semicolon here. Here there is no semicolon. But here in the do while syntax, we need to start from do. Here we don't have any semicolons. And this is the block. Here we need to write all the statements. Incrementation, decrementation, everything will be part of this body. And once you end this brace, here we need to write while and then condition. So if this condition is true, again it will go up and execute the statements. Again, if the condition is true, again it will go up and execute the same statements. So this loop will repeat like this. Okay. Now here we have a semicolon for this, and here we don't have. But here there is small difference we have. I'll discuss that in few minutes. But let us try to implement a simple code program by using do while. So let's create a new class. I will name it as do while loop. Take a main method, finish. Now here I want to print 1 to 10 numbers. So normal I'll take I is equal to 1, initial number. So now I'm writing the do condition, do, and here you need to write while condition. So I less than or is equal to 10 and semicolon. So inside this I'll write a statements, system dot out dot println I value. And after printing this I value, I must increment this. If I don't increment this, the condition will always becomes true. So that loop never will exit. So we must specify the incrementation. Now let's see how this will execute. So first it will initialize this value I equal to 1. Then it will start from here. But beginning we don't have any condition, right? It will directly jump into the block. First time it will never check the condition. Observe this. This is the main important difference between while and do while. In the while loop, at the first round itself, it will check the condition and then it will enter into the block. But in the do while loop, first round it will never check any condition. It directly jump into the block without checking condition. So it will execute the statements. Now it will print I value as a 1 and it will increment this value. Now the second it will check the condition. So I value is 2 now. So 2 less than or equal to 10 condition is true. Now again it will go up. Now it will print again 2. Again plus plus. Now it becomes 3. Condition is true. Again it will go up. This time it prints 3 and it will go like this till 10. So as soon as this I value becomes 11, then condition become false, then it will not repeat the same statement again. So it will exit from the block. So now when I run this code, this will give you 1 to 10. This is perfectly right. But what I can do here is, what I said is, in the while loop, first it will check the condition and then only it will enter into the block. If the condition is not true, it never enters the loop. But in the do while, first round it will not verify any condition. First round it will not verify any condition. Directly jump into the block. From the second round it will verify the condition. Okay, that's the difference between while and the do while. Now let's see. I'll just make this as a 20. Observe this condition. Or else what I can do is I'll just comment this code and write one more code. Observe this. Okay, so I commented. I'll just write once again. So now I'll just say I value is equal to 20 now. Even I will also comment this one. Okay, fine. So now here I will define int I equal to 0. I is equal to 20 now. So what is an output you expect? Can anyone guess? What's an output we will get from this program? Can anyone guess? Urvashi is saying 20. Yes. So let's see. If say I is equal to 20, right? As per our condition, I less than or equal to 10, right? So if I value is less than or equal to 10, then only the conditions will match. If I value is greater than 10, our condition will fail. But still, here at the beginning, we haven't verifying any condition. So it directly jump into the code. Directly it will jump into the code. So it will print 20 here. Okay, even though the condition is not matched, but first round it will print the 20 now. And then it will increment this value. And again, this condition anyway become false. Because this becomes 21, 21 less than or equal to 10 is false, then it will exit. So here what I'm saying is, even though the condition is not matched, but still the do while will execute at least once. At least once. So that's another difference between while and do while. So 20 will be printed. Okay. So I'll tell you when we need to prefer these loops. Okay. So we always prefer either while loop or for loop. The first priority will be the for loop. Okay, which I'm going to show you. And the second priority will be the while loop. But do while loop is very rare case. Very rare case we use do while loop. Okay. So now this is about the do while loop. Because for loop is having more advantages. I'll tell you why we need to prefer for loop also. Okay. So this is about the do while loop. What is the difference between while and do while? In the while loop, first time it will verify the condition and then only it will enter into the block. But in the do while loop, first round it never check the condition. From the second round, it will check the condition. Okay. So this block of statements will execute at least once. In the do while loop, the block of statements will execute at least once and then it will verify the condition. So that's the difference between while and a do while. Now let's discuss about another loop that's called for loop. This is very important, okay, because most of the times we'll use for loop. It's having more advantages. So in while loop and the do while loop, if you want to use them, we need three things. One is, if you observe these programs, initialization part is required. So we need to initialize that value, right? Initialization. This is the first thing we require. We need to initialize the value with the starting value. We need to initialize the variable with the starting value. And what's the second thing? Condition we have to specify. Condition we require. What's the third thing? Increment or decrement. Increment or decrement. So these are the three things which mandatorily required if you want to write while loop and do while loop. So we need to start from some value. So that's the initialization. And we need to write certain condition to execute block of statements. And we need to make that condition false at some point of time. So to do that, we need to also include increment or decrementation part in the body of the loop. So these three things are mandatorily required if I go for while loop and do while loop. Any other loops. But what is an advantage of for loop is, if you see while and do while loop, these three things we specified in three different statements. So for example, if I say do loop itself, initialization is one statement, condition is another statement, incrementation or decrementation is another statement. So three statements we have created. Even in a while loop also, initialization is one statement, condition is another statement, incrementation or decrementation is another statement. So at least three statements we require if I go for while loop or do while loop. But in case of for loop, we can include all three in one statement itself. One statement itself we can include initialization part, condition and increment or decrement part. So let us see how we can use this. So syntax will be like this: for in the bracket, here the for loop is divided into three different sections. So the first section, we need to initialize the value, semicolon. In the second section, we need to write the condition. This is the condition part. And the third section, we need to either increment or decrement the value. And then block of statement will be part of here. Statement will be written. This is the syntax of for loop. So in case of for loop, we don't need to initialize a separate statement. Here itself we can initialize. And the condition also will be part of this. And incrementation, decrement also part of this. And within the statement, we don't need to write again I plus plus or I minus minus. We don't require to write it because this is already part of the for loop here. So within one statement itself, we can just write initialization, condition, and incrementation, decrementation. This is another advantage of for loop when you compare with the do while and also while loop. Now let us see how this will execute. So let's understand this, very important. Now I'll say how we can the for loop will execute. So let me write a small for loop here. For, as I said, it contains three parts, right? One is initialization part. Second is condition part. Third one is incrementation part. Now these are the statements I will include. Okay, set of statements. Now let us see how this loop will execute. First time it will beginning from here. It will start from here, initialization. Okay, let's say I is equal to 0 or I equal to 1. That value we need to keep it here. So first time, only one time this will execute, initialization. And then it will verify the condition. This is the first step, this is the second step. Once initialize the value is there, then jump into the second portion. Condition will verify. So as soon as the condition is verified, then if the condition is true, directly jump into the block. It never go to the third part. Okay, it will not go third part directly from condition. So as soon as the condition is verified, if it is true, then it will jump into the statement. So this is third step. Once all statements have executed, then it will come to the third part. This is the fourth part. So first initialization, then condition will check, and then the condition is true, then it will come to the statements block, will execute, and after completion of all the statements, then it will increment or decrement the value. Once it is done, again it will check the condition. Fifth step, check the condition. Now the condition is true, then it again statements will execute, and once the statements are completed, again it will do increment or decrement, and then check the condition again. So incrementation, condition, statements will execute multiple times, but initialization part execute only first time, one time job. And from the second round, verify the condition, execute the statements, increment the value. Again check the condition, execute the statement, increment the value. So how much time this will repeat till the condition is false. So as soon as this condition become false, and then it will exit from the for. So this is the behavior of for loop. Okay, so let's write a program by using this for loop now. Let's take a new class. I will name it as a for loop. Let's take a main method. So here again I'll use the same example. how to print 1 to 10 numbers. Let's see. So here I said 3 different statements not required. Initialization, condition, and incrementation will be part of a same statement, right? So let's say for what is the initialization part? Int I equal to 1. I start from 1. So again, can also define the data type here. Okay, so int I equal to 1, semicolon. The first section is done. So second section is a condition. I less than or is equal to 10. So this is a condition, semicolon, incrementation, I plus plus. And here in the for loop, I need to write the statement. So what are all statement I need to write? Just system dot out dot println of I. That's it. See now how much simple it is when you compare with the while and do while. We don't need to write these 3 in different statements. So within one statement you can pick. So first it will start from the initialization. So I equal to 1. Now check the condition. True. Now it will come inside the body. Now it will print the I value as a 1. Now after completion of this, again it will go up and increment this value. And after incrementation it becomes 2. Now again check the condition. 2 greater than or less than or equal to 10. This is true. Now again it will come inside. Now it will print 2. And it will go like this. Every time incrementation, condition, statement. Again incrementation, condition and statement. Incrementation, condition and statement. As soon as the condition becomes false, then it will comes out from the for loop. Now let's run this code. Now you can see here it's print 1 to 10 numbers. Okay. Suppose I want to print in descending order. So how we can print it? Can anyone tell how we can change this? If you want to print in 10 to 1 descending order. So what are all changes I need to do here? So just think about the logic. So I want to print. So you need to start from 10, right? So what is the condition? I greater than 0 is a condition. I greater than 0 is a condition. And I minus minus, not plus plus. Okay, that's it. Now this will print 10 to 1. So this is a descending order. Okay, so this is how we need to use for loop. So now we have discussed about while loop, do while loop, and for loop, right? So let's see what are all differences. So in the while loop, first it will verify the condition and this required initialization part first, and then condition and execute the set of statements. But when you compare while and do while loop, first it will verify the condition, then it will enter into the block. But in the do while loop, at least once the statements will execute without checking the condition. Now when you compare with the for loop with the while and do while, in the for loop, all 3 we can include in the first one statement itself. Initialization, condition, and decrement and incrementation part will be in one condition. The main advantage of for loop is it will reduce the code. It will reduce the code. That's the main important thing. But sometimes we need to also go and use while loop. While loop also we are going to use. And there are some situations, suppose sometimes we don't know what condition we have to put. Okay, for example, let me just give you a small thing. So in Java itself, we have let's say some database. Okay, and database contains some number of records. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many records we have. Some n number of records we have. So I want to read each and every record, and I want to print in my console through program. Okay, that's my scenario. So in this scenario, I need to write a loop statement. So if you want to write a loop statement, we must know what is the starting value, what is the ending value, right? Until unless we know these 2 things, we cannot write a loop. But here, in this particular situation, we know the starting value, but we don't know what is the ending value. We don't know what is the last value. So in these cases, we cannot write for loop. Okay, because if we are to for loop, we must specify the condition. A limit should be there. So how we can get this now? We need to write a while loop. While here we don't specify the maximum limit. We don't specify the maximum limit. So we have a method called isNext. So this method will verify whether is there any record or not. If it is there, it will pick up, pull that record, and it will print here, print in the body. Again it will go here, check one more record is there or not. Again it will pull that record and it will print here. But here we haven't specified any range or limit here. So based upon the number of records, it will automatically increase. The condition also will adjust according to number of inputs which are there in the data. So this is an actual use case where the while loop will be suitable. Okay. So if you know the exact limit, then we can go for loop. If I don't know the exact limit, then go for while loop or do while. Okay. So now guys, are you clear now? What are the looping statements, how to use them, and where to use them? So these are the important points. So simple. Even if we ask interview, what is the difference between while and loop, for loop, and when we need to use them? So simple thing is, in the while loop, we have to insert three different statements. Initialization, condition, incrementation will be in different statements. But in the for loop, we can add all these three statements in single line itself. There's a one difference. And when we need to prefer them. If I know what is the limit, what is the maximum limit, we go for loop. If I don't know maximum limit, then you can go for while. Okay. So guys, are you clear now how to use this while loop, do while loop, and for loop? I'll give you more number of assignments on this. You guys should practice a lot. Okay. Then finally we have jumping statements, jump statements. There are only two statements we have under jump statements. One is called break and one is called continue. These are the two commands which comes under jump statements. So for example, there is a scenario. I have written a loop statement. Let's say this is a loop. It can be for loop, while loop, whatever. I'll say the condition like 1 to 10. I want to execute this 10 times. But somehow here internally, I will put certain condition. If this condition is true, this is not a loop condition. Okay, this is another if condition. If this condition is reached, if the condition is true, then I want to immediately exit from this loop without reaching the end point. Okay, without reaching the maximum limit, immediately in between, based on certain condition, I want to exit completely from this loop. I want to jump from out of this loop. So this can be achieved by using break command. So break command will immediately exit from the place where currently you are. Okay, and similarly we have a continue. Suppose certain condition is matched. I want to skip something here. Again, I want to continue with the next values. I want to skip something here. I want to continue with the next values. So in those cases, I need to use a continue keyword. These two are called as a jumping statements. So I'll show you a small example, then you will be very clear about break and continue. Okay. Now I'll show you a small example. I'll name this as a jumping statements. Fine. So here, just observe this. I'll just write a small program. I'll use for loop here. So first I want to print 1 to 10 numbers. Okay. What I can do is for directly write int I is equal to 1, I less than or is equal to 10, I plus plus. This is my loop. Okay. So here I will put certain condition. If I is equal to 5, I'll just say break. Okay. And then here also I will write a message system.out.println. I'll print I value. This is my logic. So here this is my for loop. Internally for loop I'll also put one conditional statement. What conditional statement will do? If this condition is true, this statement will execute. If the condition is false, this statement will ignore. It never execute. And after that, this statement will execute every time. Loop is repeated. So anyone can guess what is the output for this program? What is an output we will get from this program? Can anyone guess? Urvashi, Justin, Ravina, can anyone guess what's an output we will get? So let's see, after reaching 5 what happens? Yes, so let's see. First I value 1, the condition is true, so it will come here. So is this true or not? This condition not true, so this block will not execute, so directly this statement will execute. So 1 it will print. Now again it will increment this value, check the condition, again true. Now I value is 2 now. So if condition not matched, so that it will directly come here to print. And now I value becomes 3 now, condition is true. So if condition not matched, so again this will print value 3 and 4. And then I value become 5 now. So the above condition is true. In the for loop, the condition is true. 5 less than or equal to 10 condition is true. But here, if condition also becomes true. So 5 is equal to 5 is true. Immediately what happens? It will break. Means it will never continue the next numbers. When as soon as I become 5, it will completely come out from the for loop. Okay, it will not continue 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we will get till only 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Even 5 also we will not get, because as soon as it become 5, it will enter here and it will break from the loop. Okay, so let's run this. So it will give only 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to exit from this loop based on certain condition, then we need to use break command. Okay, if you want to exit from the loop before reaching the maximum limit on certain limit on certain condition, then we need to use a break command. This is how we need to use. Okay, suppose if I say here 7, what happens now? It will just print 1 to 6. So as soon as I value becomes 7, it will exit from the loop. So it will just give 1 to 6. Fine. So this is a break command. Now I'll show the continue command. How to use a this is one of the jumping statement, because we are directly jump out, right? So now I'll use the same example. This time instead of a break command, I will use a continue command. Continue. So now what happens? So can anyone guess what is an output for this? I'll just say 5. I'll just say continue. So can anyone guess what is the output for this? Okay, so let me tell. So here what happens is I value 1, the condition is true, so it will come here. So if condition is false, so it will print I value as 1. So it will also print 2, 3, 4. So as soon as I value become 5, okay. So condition condition is true. So here 5 less than or equal to 10, condition is true. Now, but if also will be true. If condition is also will be true. Now, as soon as if condition is true, what happens is it will just say continue. Continue means it will jump to the next number. Okay. So here, what is I value? 5. As soon as I value become 5, when I say continue, it will go to the 6th next number, but it will not print 5 here. Okay. So it will go to the next number, that is 6. So 6 condition is true. Now again it will come here 6 condition. If condition is false, then here it will print 6 and 7, 8, 9 and 10. So whichever number I have given here, the condition is true, only that number it will skip. So rest of the numbers will be printed. Now let's run this code. Now you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4 it is printed. As soon as I value become 5, I am saying continue, means go to the next step, but don't print the 5. So here it's not printing the 5. As soon as this condition is true, continue means it will jump to the next number. Okay, next condition, but it never execute the same statement for this condition. Okay, suppose I want to skip 5. Okay, I want to skip odd numbers. I want to skip 3, 5, 7. So how to write the condition now? Can anyone guess? I want to skip 3, 5, 7. I want to skip 3, 5, 7. And rest of the numbers I want to print in my console. So very simple. So I equal to 3 is the first. Whenever I value 3, I need to skip. Or this is OR operator. Or I equal to 5. Or I is equal to 7. So if I value becomes 3 or 5 or 7, so among these values, if one of them is matched, then automatically that number will be skipped. So whenever I value 3, that will continue. Means that will go to the next number. And whenever I value become 5, again it will jump or skip that value and jump into the next number. And whenever I value becomes 7, it will skip that value and go to the next number. So this is called OR operator. OR means either this one or this one or this one. Okay, OR operator we have to use. Now when I run this code, this will give you, it will skip 3, 5 and 7 is not part of this particular list. Okay, so this is how we need to use a continue command. Remember this, very important. Break and continue command. Okay, so guys, are clear now how to use this break and continue? So everything I have kept in small presentation, so I can share that. You guys please go through the presentation after the session. So I have created everything. So I'll share this presentation with you guys with the flow chart. If you understand this flow chart, it's very simple to understand. For if else, this is a flow chart. If the condition is true, if code execute. If the condition is false, false code will execute. This is simple program I have given here. And switch case statement. So switch case statement, this is the expression, case 1, case 2, case 3, so on, and finally default block will be there. So if you understand this particular flow chart, it is very simple to understand switch case. And while loop. So while loop will start here. First check the condition. If it is true, execute the block. If it is a false, exit from the loop. And if it's a true, execute the block, again repeat the same thing. And this block will always repeat. Whenever the condition becomes false, whenever the condition becomes false, it will exit the loop until unless this block will execute repetitively. That's a while loop. And then do while loop. So first execute the block at least once and then check the condition. See this? There is a difference, right? Once execute the block and then check the condition. If it is true, again repeat the same. If it is false, exit from the loop. So just try to understand this flow chart. It will give you very clear picture how execution will happen. And then for loop. So first it will initialization will do only one time and check the condition. If it is true, execute the statements. Again it will repeat the same thing. Again it will repeat the same thing. Here repeating means it will increment the condition also. And whenever the condition falls, and it will exit from the for loop. And this is jump statement. I have given a small flow chart, break and continue. Okay, just go through this presentation. I'll send this you guys. Okay, now come to the assignments. Here I have given a few assignments. You guys can try this. Just a moment. I'll copy in the notepad also. And whatever topics I have told you in this today's session, you need to use the same. So write a Java program to get number. This is not required. So with just okay, just take one number and check whether that number is positive number or negative number. So write a Java program to find a number is a positive or negative. Okay, a number is a positive number or a negative number. Just wait a moment. I'll show you. Okay, how to attach that files and all. Okay, I'll show you. So the first assignment is just write a Java program to find a number is a positive or negative. So what is the logic behind this? So here you need to use if else condition. If the number is greater than 0, that is positive. If the number is less than 0, that is negative. So you need to use conditional statement. Now the second program, write a Java program to find greatest of 3 numbers. I told you greatest of 2 numbers, but how to find greatest of 3 numbers? Let's think about it, okay? And third one, write a Java program to display multiplication table of 5. I need a output exactly same like this. 5 zeros are 0, 5 ones are 5. Here you need to use a loop statement. Okay, use a for loop. So observe this, 5 is constantly going, so we need to take a number, a variable, and then 0, 1, 2, let's take one more value called I, that value is incrementing here, right? And then multiply this number with I value, and it will give the output. And then you need to align this properly. So number into I value, it will be like this. It's a number, okay, into I value is equal to result. So this star and equal to just you need to print, okay, by using system.out.println. But here you need to substitute the result. Here you need to substitute the I value. Thus number will constantly go in. So let's try this. I will also copy the solution for this. You can just look into that. And then write a Java program to count number of digits from a number. Suppose if I say a number, if I take number, let's say suppose 1, 2, some number. How many digits we have here? 5 digits. So it should give output as a 5 digits. Okay, based on the number of values we have provided here. This is another fourth program. And we need to also apply certain mathematical things here. So just think about it and try this. And if you cannot, I will just explain in the next session. Okay, so this is all about the assignment. Now I'll stop for today here. If you have any questions,